Welcome back to the True Gamer Podcast, the podcast hosted by two gamers for you, the true gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself. Ships, bro, how you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I can see you on your red. I mean, you have your red T-shirt on today.
The Conbrosations orange.
Exactly, that's right. Fucking bastard! We're bringing it back to the DualShock controller. Clearly orange. I hate you. I hate you with a burning passion. If it wasn't for this show, I'd have killed you time ago.
What are you saying, G?
We had like a 20-minute conversation with it. Got the juices flowing, so now it's like really...
We're just coming at full car crash. You know, we
People
didn't develop.
I wasn't even ready for the show yet. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it didn't like ramp up to the collision. It's just like middle of the collision. It starts in the explosion. That's how all movies should start, just in an explosion.
They should.
What are you saying? How are you?
I'm doing fucking fantastic. A lot of really cool things have happened coming up. One terrible thing happened, obviously, God rest her soul, the Queen. She died, she passed away. We did obviously miss the last show because we were so heartbroken and so grief-stricken.
Oh, yeah, that's the reason.
That was the reason why.
That's why we
that
missed
was the reason why we
I mean, she did die the day after, but
true.
we knew we had the inside line.
Yeah, we got the message. We were like,
Yo, Charles,
mate,
how you doing?
Queen's not looking great. She's...
The snitch called us up and he was like, bros, if you want that platinum medal, you got to solo all the royal family now.
It's like, I'm not ready yet. I'm still in the middle of my training. Anyway, yeah, that obviously wasn't the reason, but that did happen recently.
Yes, yeah, it did.
By the way,
was
someone
totally my fault. All my fault. I
Sheps
would like to apologize for us not making the podcast last week because I mismanaged my time. It was all me, and I'm glad that Eddie said that as well publicly to let everybody know.
It's big of you to own that, my friend. Thank you very much for that. It's very. I admire you for that. Thank you very much.
I do think in business, you should always own up to your own mistakes.
Exactly. Thank you very much for that. Other cool things that happened.
Yeah.
One, I opened a brand new channel.
Yes, you did.
Super Tuber Eddie Plays. For all of you guys that maybe haven't heard yet, I'll be posting a dedicated video on here to like announce it and stuff like that, so you guys can know. But yeah, I've started a brand new channel dedicated to
God
sort
of
of things.
Stuff, really.
Right now, it's God of War is my main focus. I'm going to be doing this sort of like thing where I rotate every so often. Right now, I'm really into God of War. Whatever is my passion. The next game that I'm really into, I'll go hard on that. And then there'll be some videos in between of things, whatever's happening in the in the news or whatever. But that is a brand new channel that you guys can go check out right now. The first day we I was on stream and people were like, we have to get to 50 subscribers. I was like, that's a nice round number. We got to 50 subscribers.
Right.
And I was like, well, now we have to get to 69 subscribers.
Obviously.
We got to 69 and Blitz past that. We're like 135 subscribers now.
It's pretty good.
You guys are also amazing for your support. But yeah, if you want to see God of War content, God of War Ragnarok, I've got 2 theory videos up there already you can check out. Really good in my opinion. Yeah, go subscribe over there.
I will say a few things. One, I'm just going to throw you under the bus. I spent ages coming up with a bunch of words ending in ED. So it could be like outplayed, but the E would be capital because he's Ed. Or like, discontinued Ed. Or like games played. But with Ed.
Well, this is the thing. I haven't mentioned the name in any of the videos.
Yeah.
I've only put it on the channel itself. So I could change it anytime.
You can always change it.
Especially because I have
branding.
I can't so you have to get 100 subscribers in order to be able to change your channel URL.
Yeah.
And I was like, sweet, we got
Never change it until you know exactly what you want, because we went through this with the first channel.
Oh yeah. So I got there and I was like, sweet, it's like 3 days in, I've got 100 subscribers. Let me change it. Turns out you need to have an account that's over 30 days old, and I was like, oh shit. Speaking of accounts that are 30 days old and like timing and stuff like that, I did accidentally launch the channel on 9/11.
Yes, I did notice that. So now you got 2 things to look forward to every invoice.
Oh God, no!
I feel like you were like, okay, the Queen died, not now.
I did a Nintendo. No, we can't do it right now. We need to wait for the Queen passing.
Right.
Do you know what it was? I was planning to launch it on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And that was my big plan, but I got delayed on one of the videos, and I was like, no problem. I'll push it one day.
Yeah.
So one day. It's still the weekend anyway, so
one day doesn't make any difference. Right?
No problem. And I just went live, and then one of the guys in the chat, don't remember who it was just like, you do know you launched the channel on 9/11, and your anniversary is going to be 9/11 every single year now.
Yeah, I think Isak was like, or someone was like, I can't wait to see these reminder videos.
My reaction was just like...
But now what you can do is like in 2 years' time, you can be like commemorating 2 years of the channel, right? You can do a montage of like memorable things that happened on this day in history. Yeah. So it's like all your favorite gaming moments, and then like one frame of the Twin Towers.
And then just an Illuminati signal up there. So
yeah. You can do it like randomly, it'll pop up Illuminati,
and then just a flash of text like 9/11 was a plan done.
Jet fuel come, melt steel beams.
This is the worst.
This is amazing. I say you lean hard into it.
I can't. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this, but it's part of the channel now, and I guess we just have to keep it as the
this
thing.
is the difference between people that are like new on the internet and people that are seasoned. Which is people that are new on the internet are like, oh my god, I can't believe I did that. Either delete the channel, start again, or whatever.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, there is a way we can turn this either into a hilarious joke or a marketing campaign.
Right.
And I think what is more American, even though we're not American, than using the single largest terror attack in history and the death of 3,000 people for our own personal benefit.
Here's the thing. When it comes to the event anniversaries, 1 year ago, rising from the ashes like a phoenix, the ashes of the Twin Towers, comes the Super Tuber Eddie Plays channel.
You can make, this is the thing, you actually can make like graphics and stuff like that. Yeah. I say you start it a little bit on the nose, which is like rubble and smoke and stuff,
right? And
then 2 like pillars, because you don't need 4, that's ridiculous. Should lift up the name Super Tuber Eddie.
Sure.
And they should just be very, when people look at it, they're like, I feel like I know those things. Why do I know those things?
I feel like they're very recognizable. I've seen videos.
Oh, I've got it. Awful. For the next memorial video, right? Yeah. For like the 1 year birthday, edit the original footage so that it's 2 DS5s flying into the towers. And then the explosion. Super Tuber Eddie.
It's like at the beginning of time, there was 2 controllers that collided. It's like a big bang. Well, I shouldn't say that. But like that, and they just spawned the creation of the Super Tuber Eddie. This is awful. We are going to hell.
Yes, but the thing
is, who's already going to?
If you're going to hell, you don't want to be like in just some unnamed chair.
True.
Right? I want my name on the chair or a throne.
Yes.
You know, if I don't get the throne, which, you know, I appreciate that job is taken, then I want to get there and it should say like director, you know, or like showrunner.
It's like, this is who you should aspire to be.
Right. I want to go there for a promotion.
Well, you go there and Devil's just like...
Devil's like, I love your work, boys.
Love your work. It's
some
great.
inspiring stuff. Can't wait till we do with the place.
That's how you escape hell, is that he actually just gives you a job.
You just get the job, yeah.
There you go. Anyway, that's live right now, guys. I'll put a link in the description as well, but you can search for Super Tuber Eddie Plays and you can see my videos up there. Go check them out. I have a God of War trailer breakdown coming soon, and also one more theory video that's already ready to record. Lots of good content coming there. Go check it out. And I'm also gonna,
lots of content coming.
Yeah, lots of content. Let's put the bar there, and then under some possibly or over.
By the way, I think you should do some history stuff. I do think you should go back, do the old, recap the old videos for anyone. Games.
Definitely.
You know?
I'm even gonna do one where I'm like I'm running through the lore of all the realms of the Norse mythology, but in God of War, and what they mean, and
because
how
they're different. Obviously, some people think
exactly.
Like, oh, I know the actual mythology, but that's not what's in.
It's like everything. When you make a movie, things vary just a little bit, and the God of War version is obviously tailored for the games and to fit
also
a fucking God of War into it.
Very meta, and terrible for the channel, but we actually have quite a few Greek friends.
Oh yes,
and I think you should go through the original 3 games.
Yeah.
Just destroying the actual history, just mistelling it in all the ways possible, just to make it so frustrating for them, and then post it like, boys, what do you think of my historical, retelling of your mythology? Your channel will shit the bed because of it, but I mean, 3 people will be really annoyed.
3 people will be really annoyed. I'm already messing up a lot of people's days because Isak is like Icelandic and whatnot, closest thing to Norse mythology, like Norse writing language and stuff like that. And I actually called him up to like get some translations for some stuff, and he helped me out.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you do know when I come to the reading of any of these words, I'm going to completely butcher it.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be like insulting to you.
The best way to do it is to find out how to actually say it, so you know exactly how not to do it.
That's usually my
like,
way
this is how to do it, right? Yeah. No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's happening. Go check it out, guys. I appreciate the support. Really helpful.
Talking of
Thank you very
butchering
much.
languages,
Yes.
I heard this. I need to know if this is true, because you do speak Turkish. Just quick aside. Cannibal in Turkish, yum yum. Is that right?
Don't think. I mean, I've never heard cannibal be said.
Okay.
It's not a word you usually say,
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't normally come up.
Hanging out with your grandma and be like, let's talk about cannibals.
Right. Because someone's like, when you see words and languages and you're like, that's a little sus. And they're like, Turkish, this is what the word for cannibal is. Yum yum. And I was like, oh God, that is very sus.
I'm going to need to look that up, and I'm going to be like, whoa, we fucked up people. To be honest, it's probably, if I know my people, it's that they were so dumb and they just couldn't think of a word and they just went, we'll pick, what did the English say for eating food? Yum yum.
Think about it like this, because apparently people taste like pork, innit?
Mm-hmm.
Pork's haram. But people.
Loophole.
Long pig, innit? Yeah. Anyway.
The other thing I was going to say was EGX is coming up
next
week. We are so close. Guys, if you are joining us at EGX this year in London at the XL Exhibition Centre, it would be really cool to meet up with you guys. We'll be there. We'll be tweeting our location. We do have a Discord DM room that we're chatting in right now. You're not involved. Don't worry about it.
Oh, thank God, yeah.
Yeah,
I've been this close to deleting the Discord anyway. James was right.
If you want to join in that DM group so you can get in touch with us, feel free to just message me and I'll add you to it. But yeah, that's happening next week, and hopefully we'll get to see some gaming.
Yeah,
and
that
stuff
should
like
be really good. And then Tyler arrives like the next day.
The next day, and he's going to be staying here. And actually, I was planning to put out like a air mattress or something like that and just stick him here.
Just stick him in the garden. He's fine.
Yeah, exactly. He's used to living out in like the wild,
in the
and
outback,
stuff like
innit?
that. What's Australia, really?
Just get him a koala with chlamydia. He'll be happy.
Exactly. I was so shocked that was a real thing.
That's a real
way.
thing, yeah.
I was like, someo's fucking. When I first heard it, was it like Harry Styles
Someone
or something
from One
like
Direction got chlamydia.
Yeah. I was like, that's like when you say, "Nah, babe, the love bite on my neck is I rubbed up against a bush and
I was vacuuming and got stuck.
yeah, that's dumb shit like that."
I heard that and I was like, that's the dumbest excuse. You should have just said you got chlamydia. But I think it's so ridiculous that people fact checked it and they're like, yeah, that koalas can give you chlamydia. And he was with koalas in Australia.
Koala? Do they get it from fucking though, or is it something else?
I have no idea. I think it's in their urine.
Oh,
And because they're like disgusting animals, they'll just pee all the time, innit?
they look so cute though.
Yeah. Have you seen? I think it is koalas. Have you seen their brains?
No.
It's like our subs.
Oh.
Just completely smooth. It looks like a chicken breast. Yeah.
Oh,
I'll actually find you a picture while we talk about
You mean
smooth-brained idiots. Over at patreon.com/conversations and support us at the $15 the Super Bro tier. Who are these smooth-brained idiots?
They are Diogo Dildo, Isak the Ultimate Cumsock, Sabine from Smallville, the Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sunling, Catbird the Friendly Patron, Mikey T the Gamer Giant, Super Sus Ben Fryer, the Filthy Thief Fanatic, Joe McCormack Clark, the 53rd, my Juicy Left Nut, the Super Sexy Producer Sean, and Gams Master, the Leader of the Empire, the Fearless One, the Great Lord Vader himself, Step Cousin, who isn't really involved.
Step Cousin that gets me every time.
Who isn't really involved, but just likes to have his name read out every now and again. Thank you guys so much for your support over on patreon.com/conversations. Yeah.
That's on Discord. That's real. That's what they look like.
It just looks like a chicken breast.
Yep. I promise you that is what they look like, koala brains, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Man, but they're so cute though. Why
They are quite cute. They're very cute. Probably because they're so stupid.
Okay. All right, bro.
Yes.
So today we've got a lot of things to talk about. A lot of things happened very, very recently. One of the big things being obviously the state of play, which we're going to talk about first of all.
Yeah,
That's
there was
a big
nothing
thing.
interesting there really. It was just a big presentation that ended weirdly.
Exactly, abruptly. Just oh yeah, and goodbye. Talking about loads of new like dual senses out there, new covers. Cyberpunk 2077 revealed their new expansion that's coming up soon. And also we're going to talk about how Xbox and PlayStation are still in this fight for Activision Blizzard's purchase, and how Jim Ryan sounded a little bit whiny, but I mean, there's some points
Jim Ryan
in
sounded
there.
right.
Yeah, I know, right? The guy's
crazy.
so perfect and everything. I mean, just how could he possibly? How could he possibly? Anyway, let's kick it off with the state of play. So, how much of it did you watch?
I watched most of it.
You was in the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did stream it, and we watched the entire stream together with the guys. And it was marketed as 10 games they're going to show off.
Yeah.
Largely to do with their Japanese developers and partners, and with a few surprises in there.
Yeah.
And they mentioned PSVR 2 as well that we're going to show off. And boy, did they deliver. This is the reason why we can't gauge any of the showcases, any of the state of plays that come out, because state of plays sometimes are just like, one game.
Yeah, here's one game and like 3 like extra missions to random games that no one's played in 3 years.
And then Deathloop thrown in for no reason.
Right.
And then we're like, cool, maybe we should temper expectations for state of plays and then only hype up the big showcases.
Yeah.
And then they go and do shit like this, where they just unleash the sickest God of War Ragnarok trailer ever in existence to a random state of play that they announced like maybe 13 hours before.
That's the bit I don't get. First of all, it's not a showcase, it's a state of play, which there is a pecking order to these things, and it isn't that way around, for the record. And weirdly, like, God of War is their premium tier. Right, there's only a couple of things even in that same league, and God of War is the gold medalist.
God of War and Last of Us.
Probably a little bit under there is like Uncharted, Horizon. But like God of War, very clear the gold medalist. And there's some good stuff in there. There was some cool stuff, but it was kind of a bit like, we're not really sure. It's a regular showcase. It's a good thing we tempered our expectations. By the way, boom, here you go.
Boom! Like that. They did try to bait us, though. They did try to fuck us up. You should see my face on the stream. I can tell you my thoughts internally. So they show, they're like, and one more thing from PlayStation Studios. And I'm like,
Yeah, I saw that.
And then they show the controller, and I'm like, yeah, the controller looks nice.
Oh, that's cool.
It's cool little announcement. I thought they were like, God of War. It's not God of War, though.
Yeah.
And then they go and show us this bomb-ass trailer, and it filled my soul with youth again.
Yeah.
Words cannot describe how great this trailer was.
It was pretty cool.
It did. I'm going to do a whole breakdown of it on the SuperTube 80 Plays channel. Go subscribe. Yes, everyone like that. Shit in for no reason. But what it did was that it showed us exactly how much more there is going to be to this game. Just in that 3-minute trailer alone. That 3-minute trailer maybe had about 100 different scenes in it. And I'm like, each one is completely different. I'm drawing my own conclusions, and I've written out maybe an hour and a half of each scene could possibly be in this game. And I'm like, this game's going to be like 50 hours long.
It definitely feels like, and this is a good thing, it feels like the base game is realistically at least twice, if not 3 times as big.
Yeah.
And not in a don't respect your time, AC, whatever the last one was, Valhalla way, but in a, look at all this cool stuff you get to play in way.
It feels like, so they were, Cory Borlog and Eric Williams, the director, was saying like, we didn't want to make fans wait another 5 years for like the final chapter or something like that. It feels like they put it all together, and when I heard that first, I was like, have they cut corners?
Right.
To
Have
try
they
and
cut
make
corners, or is it going to be, offensively long?
Yeah.
It's one of two things,
I
probably.
was like, offensively long was like one thing. I was like, as long as they keep the story, it's not so bad. But the thing is that offensively long could be like 100 hours, and even a good story, 100 hours is a bit much. But I was like, are they gonna? I was more worried they were gonna cut corners, and I was like, okay, we're gonna try and make this respectable for people's time, so we're gonna remove that, we're gonna remove this, we're gonna remove that. It doesn't seem like they're removing anything, and it seems like it's just gonna be constantly bang, 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 bang. There's so many things in there, so many realms, so many places in the trailer that look so interesting, and I don't want to leave any of them.
And some really exciting, potential boss fights and
so many.
And also the extra story with like Freya.
Yeah.
Whether or not, I mean, do you still think we're going back in time?
Yes. In fact, I think that the last moment of the trailer where Kratos and Thor clash with the Leviathan axe and Mjolnir, and then Thor calls back the hammer with a clicking of his fingers, and it just pulls it back. That moment is when we go back in time. I'm calling it now. I think this happens very early in the game. Spoiler for the breakdown trailer that I'm doing. In one of the scenes where he's cutting Tyr's neck restraints and whatnot, you can see he's got the Bifrost, that glowing light thing and whatnot. It's different to the one from the previous game. However, in that shot where he's fighting Thor, it's the old version.
Oh, do you think we rescue Tyr back in time?
I don't know. That part is a little bit murky to me. Yeah. But
that would make sense because
there is definitely some time movements or something. What at least I'm thinking is that happens very early in the game. And then I think we do. If it happens early in the game, I'm confident that we.
I really want to see this video, so
you should. Anyway, you guys can see the breakdown thing, and there's a lot more little bits like that I've noticed, and hopefully it will enrich the experience for you as it's doing for me. But that moment,
very cool. So you think that's the moment? Probably where the two things cancel out and something happens.
So the first one is like that big hit, and then when they call it back, and then they're both like right next to each other. That's when I think it happens.
Okay.
But yeah, that whole trailer was so good.
Very cool.
Can I ask you for your theory, because you've mentioned it on Twitter? The tier theory that you have. Do you want to officially lay it out here so everyone can ridicule you afterwards, or do you? I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm just saying.
I need to see my exact tweet because I don't want to talk over myself.
I'll tell you what my tweet was. Yeah. I put down, so the moment in the trailer where Tyr and Kratos are holding hands, sort of pulling each other up. I was like, same energy between Arnold Schwarzenegger and what's the guy's name in The Predator?
I forget. He's the guy that played Apollo Creed. Yeah. I forget his name.
Them together where they're muscles and they're high five.
Yeah, they do the thing from Predator.
But he betrays him in that. And you were like, well, I'm glad you also believe.
I said, I'm glad you also agree that Tyr will basically betray us, eyes emoji. And then I was like, that for real, that's not a joke. I do think that's going to happen. And I do think that's going to happen.
I'm on the fence. It could be that the only way that would work, and I think that would be a great thing as well, is that because Tyr's portrayed as this amazing character that helps everybody he sees and wants the betterment of the world, even helps Faye, Laufey the Just. So has she been completely fooled by his altruism, his
No, I think it's going to be...
and then he's just going to turn in the end and all of this was all bad?
If I had to guess, I would think that it's something that we want to do. So either to save Atreus or to see Faye again or something, that it goes against the rules and what he stands for. And he's he's helped us up to a point and then realizes what we want to do. And he's like, no, we can't, that's against the code or something.
I like that theory.
Because also, there's that image of him handing, I think it looks like Mjolnir to somebody, some other god. I think it is something along those lines where Kratos is going to be like, you can't be giving gods weapons or technology or gifts or whatever it is, because most gods are douchebags. And also I want to go back in time, basic gist. And he's like, no, we can't. This would obviously be much deeper into the game. He's like, we're not doing that. And he's like, no, either I see Faye and you can visit, or I see Faye. Those are the options. Either you can be alive and I see Faye, or I can see Faye. I don't really care which
two options, my friend.
And then Tyr's going to be like, well, look, I can't let you ruin time. And Kratos is going to be like, you know what? You didn't have a say in the first place.
Yeah.
So, you know.
That's a good one. I like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if you're right about the time travel. So we sort of assumed in the first game that Tim must be dead, right?
Yeah.
And I think now... sorry, every time I come here, frog in the throat. I think he is dead now because we kill him. I think we do go back in time, free him. He helps us figure some stuff out, but then either gets in the way or doesn't like the cause, or probably realizes what the deal is with Atreus and the like coming Ragnarok. And like, he's going to beef out Atreus. Guess what, bro? Like, you cool. We ain't that cool. That's what I think is going to happen.
That's a nice one. I like it.
It's going to happen, yeah.
Do you know, there were two other, I'm just going to geek out right now,
Go
two
for it.
other shots that really floated my boat.
Atreus and the wolf howling at the moon.
That was one of them for sure.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
I was
Fenrir, right?
That
Yeah.
moment. It was, no. So this thing I said Fenrir at the time is because I was being dumb. I had my face on half of the screen, so I
Okay.
only saw one wolf. It's
Oh.
actually Skoll and Haiti, which are the
Okay.
sons of Fenrir. So
Right.
they're his grandchildren, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And the way it was golden sun, golden
Yeah.
light everywhere, just lit an arrow, and then one of the wolves just going off, the other one howling. I was like,
Yeah.
chills,
Sick.
chills.
Sick, innit?
And I saw a picture of it, and I could hear this picture. I can hear it right now. And then the other one was Kratos walking again towards the light of Alfheim. And I was like, he wants to be with Faye. Like, that love is still inside him. That it was confirmed in the last game that a part of her is actually in that light.
Okay.
So he must have had a feeling enough to feel like she's actually in there. It's not like a hallucination.
Yeah.
Something
it's not like
is
I'm
there.
thinking about her, looking at this thing. Like,
Exactly.
She's there. Yeah.
So he wants to go back because he just needs to be with her, and that love, I need to
Yeah.
see that in the next game.
Not to
see
pat
that.
myself on the back, because
Yeah.
it's another one of my tweets, but you had tweeted out about how Kratos says this one line about death can have me when he earns me. And I was like, yeah, Christopher, judge, jury, and executioner. He's so badass. Which is why I will move mountains to make Christopher Judge Kratos in a live action. He's not Greek. It's Christopher Judge.
I don't care.
We'll make it work.
This is what you want, though. This is what you want.
We'll make it work. He's the guy.
That line.
I mean, the only way you could do anything as stupid as that would be maybe to do like, I don't know, a Days Gone thing. You have Sam Witwer, but you're like, we don't need Sam Witwer. We'll go with someone else. You know? Like, why would you do that?
It's like with the Christopher Judge thing, because he's had like some bad surgeries and stuff like that. You're like,
Yeah.
the guy can't really act. But like, you know what? I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's unfair to him, the guy who's brought this Kratos
I mean, he
to
had like
the
a
world.
double hip replacement or something. Yeah.
But I understand. Physically incapable.
Yeah, fair enough. Also, he's
Sam,
older. Yeah.
Sam Witwer,
In his prime.
prime condition.
In his prime.
A more seasoned, better actor. Nah, bruv. What?
We're just going to roll this dice on this unknown. It's like, has no connection to the IP at all.
No.
Doesn't know the games.
And I don't understand the logic. Say you revive the interest for
Yeah.
Days Gone. What are you going to do with the sequel? You're going to go with him?
The guy that didn't build the original game?
Or... no idea
Doesn't
what your
make
thought
any
is.
sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Anyway, back to the state of play. God of War Ragnarok trailer, restored faith in humanity.
Yeah.
Everyone feels now younger, more. All wars have been cured.
Our beards got thicker.
Exactly. We all just. I felt more muscly for some reason. Just out of nowhere.
You look it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And then I called the axe as well. And it just came off of the wall into my hand. Just how
I'll
it
tell
is.
you, I have no idea what else was at the state of play now. I can't remember any of it.
That's the thing. There's only one other thing that I do remember genuinely, and then I had to go look it up. Was do you remember the game called Project Eve?
Yeah.
That they're now called something like Stella. I'll have a look
The
at the name
weeb
in a
game
second.
with all the booty shots.
I was like, well, at the start of it, I was like, there's a lot of booty shots in here. It's a fine ass. It's a beautiful ass, but it's a booty shot and it's animated.
Yeah.
And then afterwards it started to play and I was like, shit, this is actually really
It
good
does look
gameplay.
cool, yeah.
Like the movements, the bullet time, the slowdown. I was like,
It does look cool.
this looks really, really good. I'm gonna look up the name because I feel like it deserves the.
It was originally Project Eve. It might still be
Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade. Yeah, they
That's what
changed
it's
it.
called,
Didn't they?
right,
I guess it was Project Eve, and then they officially announced it as Stellar Blade.
That's right.
There's some really interesting things when it comes to those sort of like JRPG, thirst trap JRPG type things.
Yep.
There's one really famously, I think it's famous, Bayonetta,
Yes.
which I believe is, I never actually played it, but the basic gist I think is a sexy nun in like full like leather stuff ends up fighting demons. That's the basic gist.
Of course.
And obviously, you know, people wanted to. This is right around the Gamergate stuff. Do you remember that?
Right, yeah, I remember that.
And so people were like, this is just like the male fancy, all the worst things, like objectifying women. And then the character designer who was with the project from start to finish and was deeply involved in the story and everything was a chick who was like, and they asked her, why did you design her like this? Were you ordered to? And they were like, she was like, no, I was told to make a cool character. And this is what I embody as the perfect woman. This is the woman I would aspire to be. She's sexy. She's powerful. She's hot. She's
completely disarm them.
Yeah. You know,
it's so weird. It's like they are so in their own mind about stupid shit like this that they can't possibly imagine that women also like women or like them to be sexy or like them to be powerful. They can't have them all. No.
But then you have like Chris Evans pull apart a stump shirtless, and there's no toxic problems there. There's no unattainable.
No.
By the way, that's how I want my superheroes to act. I don't like dad bod Thor.
Right.
You know.
Anyway, that's the hypocrisy all throughout throughout the world.
So those sorts of JRPGs, yes, flagrant booty shots and like way too much cleavage, where you're just like. It takes you out of the game because you're like, there's no way that's holding them in. You know, like just on a logistical level, they're not staying in there.
So I don't know about that one. I don't know.
Right, I'm not so sure.
Yeah. That was they did show off some PlayStation VR stuff. They showed Star Wars Tales from a Galaxy's Edge.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about this.
But they apparently redone it, so like higher resolution textures because it's going to be for the PlayStation VR 2.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit more about the praise that's getting right now. Yesterday there was a whole blowout of stuff, but that's being done there.
I'll be 100% with you. I didn't know about any of that stuff. God of War just totally...
It blew everything out. And this is the thing. This is why we thought that there was going to be like a dedicated showcase, because these state of plays, they're for smaller stuff, right? That's what we thought up until now. And it's good that way because no one can think about anything but God of War.
Yeah, it should have its dedicated show because anything you show with it, even The Last of Us, Horizon, Uncharted, Spider-Man. I'll tell you what, if they'd have showed a Spider-Man 2, I wouldn't remember it now.
Right, especially with that ending.
Like, and that's nothing against those games. It's just that it's God of War.
Yeah.
So
they showed off there's a Yakuza spin-off game that's getting a Western release. It was released in Japan before. It looked quite interesting. There was another one that was called, what was it called? Was it something of the Ronin?
Oh, yeah. I saw the guy.
Rise of the Ronin.
He turns into like a hawk or something with a weird...
Pulls out a Da Vinci style sort of glider type thing. Like wooden and fabric.
Very like Aang from Avatar type stuff, if you've seen that. But that's not even Japanese anime.
I'm not a nerd, so...
Right. Sure.
You're watching Lord of the Rings behind my back as well.
I will say, unfortunately for it's going to be the second best Rise game. And the second best Japanese anything game because of Ghost of Tsushima.
Exactly. So second place for you, unfortunately.
Did I see that Ubisoft is talking about doing a Japanese thing?
Yeah.
I saw a tweet about that, and I'm like, first of all, you're 5 years late.
This is the thing.
Because everybody has been screaming for this for like 10 years.
We'll talk a little bit about Assassin's Creed, but they announced like 4 Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
And they're coming way in the future. They're not going to be next to each other. But I was like, so why did you announce them all? I don't understand. Like, all you had was a code name for them and then a rough idea. And one of them's mobile. And it's like, okay, well, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Anyway, that was announced. They also showed off there's a PlayStation exclusive quest underneath Hogsmeade in Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
Hogwarts, no one gives a shit.
No one cares.
No one cares, but that's happening.
Funnily enough...
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of people getting all up in arms, but it's not fair. There's like a PlayStation exclusive, whatever. Like console exclusive or platform exclusive missions, which by the way, it's not forever. It's a timed exclusive, I believe.
Yeah, it's a timed exclusive. They haven't mentioned how long it is, but
Call of Duty did that. It's the biggest game. That is the biggest game of all time.
What it is,
and the only reason they complain is because Xbox didn't get it.
I was gonna say,
had they got it, they would have been like, sucks to be you, PlayStation, and we wouldn't have been allowed to complain. We wouldn't have complained because we're not virgins, but
this is the thing. I feel like they need to be. There are Xbox fans that don't care. There are Xbox fans that are fine, and they're just happy to play whatever games they
they
get.
just play games on
they-
Xbox.
They're
Yeah.
just fine. And then there are the
That's
hardcore.
not who we're talking about,
Exactly.
yeah.
They're the hardcore like fanboys, right? And unfortunately, it's a series of L's, one after the other, that's getting to them. And I do kind of feel bad.
I mean, in fairness, that series of L's has been 2 generations long now.
Exactly. That's why it's getting a bit long now. And then when they get like the biggest game that we were looking forward to that got delayed, and now there's no games in 2022, I start to feel bad for them. However, you're only doing this to yourself. If there was nothing on PlayStation right now, I'd go over to Xbox and play whatever game is over there.
I'll tell you what.
Do the same thing.
Other side of that coin,
Yeah.
if they wouldn't constantly try to like be toxic and get one over on PlayStation, I'd be saying, Microsoft, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I'd be defending these guys saying, look, Xbox don't have anything.
Yeah.
Why are we getting exclusives? We don't need this. We've got all the best titles. Like, don't do this. This is stupid because
Yeah.
it is taking away from Xbox. The reality is there are the people we're talking about, the Xbox, that are like, there's nothing good on PlayStation. I'm a few hours into The Last of Us Part 1
Yeah.
remake. Looks the same as 2013. I can't tell different. You're insane. You're insane.
I'm so glad that after the game came out, the conversation stopped, because
It wasn't a conversation.
Had it gone on, I would have lost my shit, because it's like, now we have the proof. Now we have the proof in front of our faces that everything that was said before was all just dumb.
It's ridiculous.
If it had gone on, I would have lost it.
I'm only like 2 hours in.
Yeah.
I'm through the skyscraper or something, right? Like, because that clicker isn't bugged. But like,
I wanted the bugs to follow you so bad.
there'll probably be some. It's not my thing, but I did put it on fidelity mode just to check out those first few things.
Yeah.
That first, like, that intro. Oh my god. When you get to the time skip and you start, you get that, there's like a cinematic of, Joel, what are we going to do? Robert's after us, whatever. And then
What's her name?
Tess.
Tess, that's it.
Yeah, it tells you about Robert betraying you, and then you come out and you start walking through the streets. On fidelity mode, as someone paying attention, you can't tell when it changes. Which you could obviously in the originals.
Yeah.
You very much knew. But like on fidelity, you can't tell. You have to know that it's finished and you're taking control. You have to be paying attention, because if you don't pay attention, you're like, why have they... Oh, that's right, it's me.
Oh, it's me.
Right, and then immediately I switched it to the FPS because I just prefer FPS. It feels better to me.
Yeah.
And even on that, it's not like it looks bad. Like, it's gorgeous. And anyone, why does the original look better? You're an idiot.
Yeah.
You're actually insane.
I want to study how stupid you are.
Get a scan of their brain, it'll look like that koala. Look like it's just... Dr. Nesbitt, we've got a patient you have to see. What? We scanned his brain. What about it?
Completely smooth.
Are you familiar with koalas? Like, why you're on crack?
Yeah.
But sort of on that note, like, if these guys weren't constantly trying to manufacture L's that don't exist, when really it's like their side taking the L's, like, I support gamers,
Yeah.
and I do think it's very strange that, not to make this a PlayStation defense rant, but like, PlayStation repackage something and add a ton of value. Toxic. Why are they charging you full price for this? Nintendo does it.
Mate, I have a perfect example for you. So just a few days ago, they announced that GoldenEye was being remade to come. Well,
It was being split up as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of a dumb thing. So like, I'll mention the story here, seeing as we've got it up and whatnot. But it's a GoldenEye's coming out. It's being faithfully recreated.
Right.
It says for Xbox is coming to Xbox Game Pass, and it's being split off. So you get the campaign and it's going to Xbox, and then the online multiplayer only is going to Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Famous for their online plays. I don't get it. I'm not really sure. But anyway, it's just the N64 version, up-resed,
Pretty much.
not changed name, not remade, not anything like that, put onto Xbox and put onto Nintendo. Not a single word of anything about, oh, this is a cash grab, this is anything. Last of Us is remade from the ground up, just kept the motion capture and the voice acting.
They kept the soul and put it in new.
And then everything all over again, redone, all meticulously went through everything. Cash grab, can't believe they're doing it. Remake, it's not even a remake, it's barely even better than the remaster. The remaster actually looks better than this version. When it comes to GoldenEye, which is just like HD. When it comes to, no, it's great, it's fantastic. It's the best thing in gaming.
Right.
Haven't heard a single word about it.
Also, it's not like
Bullshit.
It's not like they do that with all the other games that like they re-release games all the time for full price.
Exactly.
So, and that isn't an attack on Nintendo. It's just that Nintendo does it, no one bats an eye. Xbox doesn't bring anything out for 700 days.
Yeah.
Nothing. Sony brings out a game, like I said, rebuilt from the ground up, cash grab.
Cash grab.
And it does feel really one-sided, and in a really bizarre way, because if the Xbox weren't toxic, we'd be on their side, because I want a strong Xbox, because a strong Xbox keeps Sony on their toes.
Exactly. Our ridicule would be towards Phil Spencer and why he hasn't done this, why he hasn't done that, why have you not served your customers? You can't come out at E3 every single time and go, we've had the best year in gaming, and not release a game for 700 days.
Right. Or to be like, we're not going to take anything away from anyone, except in a couple of years COD's going to be exclusive. And it's like, first of all, I don't think that makes financial sense, Phil.
It doesn't.
Because the only people willing to buy it are on the... Anyway, besides the point. But it's like, we
would be on your side.
I want to be. Also, like, Game Pass is everywhere. If there was good stuff on there, I'd get it. Or I would prefer to buy an Xbox and buy some games, which is not the financially sensible decision, but I want to support developers that make good stuff. If it had come out and it was like, was it Medium or something? The one where you could, like, there is some interesting tech in the Xbox, but it's been woefully underutilized. Like, if games were coming out like that and like Scorn, and there were really fantastic stories where it's interesting gameplay mechanics, we'd buy Xboxes and play them. Up until last gen, I have every single one of every single console and a bunch of games. I have a bunch of games on both because if it's multiplayer, I might play something on PlayStation, play other, like, I want to do that, but there's no reason to. And that side constantly attacks only PlayStation. They don't attack Nintendo for these cash grabs. They don't attack, it's just a cash grab rebuilt from the floor up. It looks the same as the 2013 game or the remake, or the remaster. No, it doesn't.
It's when you go into like a shop and there's an argument between a irrational customer. You're like, I can't talk to you because you're so irrational, so outside of the realm of sanity and the logic of life.
They think
I can't talk to you.
The sort of customer that yells at somebody stacking shelves. It's their first week there.
Right.
They've explained that, and they're not familiar with the systems yet, but they can get someone for you. Why haven't you changed this? That's actually something that corporate does. Yeah. Well, why aren't you doing it? Because I don't head the multi-billion-dollar international company.
Yeah.
I stack a shelf for minimum wage.
Anyway, we've gone up. We've made our point. Anyway.
Which is get fricked Xbox.
Exactly. And Xbox, everything.
Everything.
We obviously, Sony ponies, we hate everything Xbox related, obviously. So it is. We hated Bungie until they became part of PlayStation. And so
it's true.
Like
it's true. They were cleansed.
Redeemed. They were the light of PlayStation bathed them with cleansing light.
That's right.
So fucking weird. Anyway, and the only other game they showed off right at the beginning was Tekken 8. I have fond memories of playing Tekken back in the day.
That's funny because you didn't call it out as Tekken.
I called it out as
Street Fighter. Street Fighter.
Street Fighter. Well, to be fair, they're fucking... first glance, they look almost identical.
Very clearly Jin.
Really no, shut up. They're really buff dudes and they're fighting. I was like, oh, that. But my last memory is Tekken Advance on the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
So that's how far back my memory was. I can't even remember what I had for dinner yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm proud I remember Tekken in general.
I'm just trying to think what I had for dinner. I can't remember.
Exactly.
I do miss OG Tekken though. Like I used to love going to there used to be like just an independent game shop.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name, but you'd go and you had like PlayStation set up onto like arcade machines, playing like Tekken 1 or 2 or something, and you had like King and Yoshimura and like was it Eddie Bravo or something? There was some capoeira guy who did all the spins and kicks and stuff. That's just like my childhood of gaming. That's back. It feels like gaming was so much more pure then, and there was like arguments between like Super Nintendo, or like, do you call it a SNES, or are you a retard and you spell it out?
No, obviously Super.
You know, or like
SNES.
Right? Yeah. Do you spell it out like a moron?
Everyone agrees it's SNES. Everyone.
Or like, what's better,
whole-
PS1 or
in the chat.
N64? Like, it was really a, what do you have? Oh, cool. Yeah, well, I've got the other one. You know, but there are amazing games everywhere, and you were just a gamer. Also, it wasn't so cool to be. It wasn't just everybody wasn't a gamer, which meant like you had to actually enjoy it
Yeah, you
to
had
be one. And I miss those days. And Tekken feels in a way that like, yeah, Mortal Kombat's cool, and yeah, Street Fighter's cool, but for some reason for me it's Tekken, and Street Fighter more so than Mortal Kombat. But those old games feel like gaming to me. I don't give a shit about those fighting games these days, but like, man, I really want, like, I would love for Tekken to just make a big comeback, you know? And I know those guys that are into those fighting games take it really, really seriously, and there are like leagues and stuff, all that. I would love to see Tekken become like the #1 thing again.
I would love that too, especially because the fighting community they don't get a lot of attention
Or love.
of attention. So yeah, I'd like that to happen as well.
It would be cool. Also, have you seen the bitches in those games? I'm sorry, I'm joking.
Do you know what? It's not in a Tekken. It's one of the other games, one of the other fighting games. There's this woman with humongous thighs, like muscular thighs.
Go on.
Fantastic, beautiful thing, and it's just amazing. And there's one cosplayer out there who is identical, and I'm like, how are those thighs humanly possible? And I can't remember her name. I don't remember anything like that. But I saw it and I was genuinely amazed. Sorry, I'm a bit stressed. I need to buy something that has been out of stock for decades, and I'm on my fucking laptop trying to buy it.
What's
06.
her name? What are you doing? What are you buying? We're recording,
I'm
bro.
buying creatine. Sorry, I've been trying to buy it forever, and it's always been out of stock. Can anyone see my card number? Right
Is
here?
it? Is this her? No, it's not Poison Ivy. It's Ivy Valentine. I think in my head you described Ivy Valentine. I think is her name, from Soul Calibur.
Is she wearing black?
I'll show you.
Please show me. Yes.
Ivy
Show me the
Valentine.
muscular thighs of a
Soul
woman, please. Thank you very much.
Calibur. I mean, the other thing is we could just Google like best thighs in fighting games.
Best
isn't it?
thighs, boys.
She's cool because I mean, she's not cool. I think she's a villain.
It wasn't her, but I see, but genuinely like close to that.
What's cool is this is her weapon. I think that's just so cool. It's like a sword that has like a metal rope in the middle, and it splits up and then ends up as a whip. It's so cool. I've always thought that design was so sick, and it was the weapon design I was interested in all along.
Exactly. By the way, those thighs were in that photo that you showed me right there. 1/10 of the size of that I was talking about.
Now I desperately,
If I could
for
find
fact checking purposes,
I'm gonna.
well, it's because I'm interested. Do you know what's funny? Because you mentioned it. This is totally organic. You mentioned cosplays.
Yeah.
How do you feel about cosplay now, and how it was like a few years ago, like in 2016, versus like how do you feel about if you're like, oh, they do cosplay? How do you feel about that now these days? We'll get back to gaming. Don't you worry. It relates.
I like it because there's a lot of people in the space and everyone's trying to go hard on it. I don't know.
Because I was thinking about this earlier. I can't remember how it came up, but someone was talking about cosplayers, and I was like, especially cosplay girls, and I was like, you know, like these days, so many girls do cosplay, and you get to see like pretty girls in cool, like sexy costumes, and like everybody enjoys that, but
Yeah.
I really kind of hate it because I feel like in 2016. When there were some pretty girls that did it, but they had talent. Like they were specifically.
what you mean.
It was not people that went out and bought these costumes. The whole point about cosplay was these, sometimes gorgeous, but sometimes just regular women and people would like dedicate themselves to fabricating these costumes because they wanted to play as, or like turn up to a convention looking like their favorite characters, and that felt so pure and cool. And then your Jessica Negris and stuff came along and were like, oh, I can make millions a month doing like photo shoots as this character and putting it on OnlyFans. Well, I'll do that. And then I feel like cosplay these days is just buying costumes, putting it on and taking photos. And it's lost that like...
I feel you exactly, actually. Now you mention it that way, I completely understand.
Because like, do you know what's better than a pretty girl? A pretty girl with some talent.
Yes.
A pretty girl with some... or even, do you know, any person with a passion and who has gone out of their way to develop a thing. So obviously not us, right? Not pretty, not talented.
Come on now, talented.
But like that I really appreciate. Like there was
found it.
First of all, that's a muscle mummy energy right there. I actually do know who that. That
it says
she's a
doctor.
She's a fitness Instagrammer type and a professional bodybuilder, I want to say.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Yeah, it's Chun-Li for the audio version. She's cosplaying as I didn't, but it's in the
It
black variant.
It was
not
also
the
specifically the lady you were talking about.
Yes, yeah.
So
insane.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. Send me her stuff.
I'll send you this.
What were we talking about? Cosplay being?
Yeah, cosplay used to be about talent and stuff like that before, and now it's pretty much it's been invaded. Unfortunately, it's the rise of OnlyFans and stuff like that. People are like, oh, it's cosplay, and I can put a sexual spin on it.
It's been invaded by, like, I hate to say this because it feels like I'm gatekeeping, but I'm not. What my issue is that it became mainstream, and now everybody dresses up as Harley Quinn and goes to something, right?
Yes.
And in one sense, like, I don't want to take that away from anybody, but the point of the cosplaying was it wasn't cool to do. It was people that were just passionate about it, and it's the passion that was cool. Yeah. And same with, like, anime. The worst people on the planet are, like, My Hero Academia fans.
Naruto fans. Oh, Jesus Christ.
But they don't even come close. You don't actually know this, but, like...
And Studio Ghibli fans. Oh, my God, all of this.
But, like, they're some of the most toxic people on the planet because it's, like... Because once something is accessible to everybody, then all the crazies come in. Right? Where before it wasn't cool to be an anime fan. So if you were an anime fan, you had to really like it.
Yeah.
And if you were a cosplay fan, you had to really like it. And you had to really find an IP that you liked and then build a talent and then marry the two. You had to really like it. Yeah. And I that's what I like about these things. And I hate that when they become mainstream. Because on the one hand, I'm like, I love when people have a passion and they can share it with as many people as possible. Yeah. And that leads to it not being fun anymore. Yeah. Do you know? Like, it's awful. Like, for example, we do YouTube. It was fun in the beginning. And then we start a Patreon, and our true gamers over on patreon.com/Conbrosations.
I like it.
Who make this podcast in particular happen. Get involved. Oh, we want to talk to you. We don't want to spend any time with you either. So, take your shout out. And be gone.
Be gone. Those great true gamers over on patreon.com who support us are Adam the High Quality Potato, Gams Master, Sheps' Crusty Right Nut, Isak Manny, The Bat Fan, Adam Sunlink, Clark53, Mikey T, Sab2557, Casper Coral, Joe McCormack, Superwell Ben, hashtag The Boy Season 3 Streamcast. Hashtag make the nice guys too, please, for the love of holy fuck Hollywood. Gerald Tucker, Fishy, The Jackal, John Infinite, Max H, Cobra SS, and Sam Mason. John Infinite, a new one there. Thank you very much, guys, for supporting Conbrosations and everything we do over here. Thank you guys so much.
I'm going to have to be doing some Chun-Li research.
Yes, it's quite something right there. Okay, so that was the state of play that we wrapped up right there. It was all great. The new controller that they announced. Personally, I'm not over the moon with the style of the controller. I think it's okay.
It is okay. It's aggressively okay, though.
It's there.
It is the actual definition of mid.
I was going to say the actual definition, not, like, it's mid, I don't care. Like, if it's mid, then you've got some interest.
Mids are, this is the thing, average, or 5 out of 10 is 5 out of 10. Yeah. It's middle of the pack. 5 out of 10 isn't an unplayable game or an unwatchable movie. It's okay.
Yeah. It's like, I spent my time on something.
And a 7 is a good game. Yeah. Like, this stupid 5 out, like, basically all they did was turn anything below 5 to just doesn't exist. So it's now it's out of 5. If you're gonna only start at 5, it's 5 out of 1 to 5.
It's like it's a 6 or a 7. Well, it barely exists. It's like what?
It's stupid.
Anyway, yeah, so that was okay. Yeah. I could have done a much better design myself, but this is what's happening. But I'm glad that PlayStation are moving into the territory of actually doing stuff.
I'm annoyed that they're doing that, because if you're going to do it like we've been asking for, why phone it in?
Well, here's the thing.
And with God of War, why phone in? It is functionally phoned in. How many?
Cash cow.
That poster behind you, or what you're wearing. I'd pay 40 quid on top of the side plates just for that.
So this is the thing. They showed off this new DualSense controller. Yeah. They also showed off a bunch of camouflage gray headset plates and controller as well. I actually like the grey camouflage more than any other camouflage. I think it looked nice.
It's crazy that they went with grey and not PlayStation 1 grey.
That's the thing. They're so close to giving us PlayStation 1 grey, and they won't do it. They just won't do it. I don't know why.
It's in there though. It's one of the colors. I'm like 90% sure one of the colors is PlayStation 1 grey, but it's like,
do you know what I love? I
just
imagine,
turn them all to that color.
I imagine that when they're like in the design suite and everything like that. Do you know what colors really grey and just feels like PlayStation grey? I don't know why it feels that way, but it just feels that way.
Hey,
know?
actually, we made a consoles. Maybe we should make one of those camo colors. That PlayStation 1 grey.
There
Be a
we
nice
go.
little throwback. Oh, I'm gonna.
But so this is the thing. I'm still puzzled why there isn't like a design labs type thing like what Xbox does or on PlayStation. They're leaving so much money on the table. However, circling into our next topic, I don't know if I want them to do anything like that because PlayStation have not had a good start in terms of selling stuff directly from themselves. I don't know if you saw this, but the Last of Us Part 1, there was an option in America to buy something called the Firefly Edition.
Yeah.
The Firefly Edition was like a steel book and it came in like a nice commemorative case. It was like black and white and it was $100. So $70 for the normal version, $100 for that one. It was an extra premium version. I was considering getting it myself, but it was only available in the US. I'm a hardcore collector. I like my collectors, like physical media, so it was something for me. And anyone who's going to be buying this is definitely going to be interested in how amazing it looks, the art of it, the beauty of it, and stuff like that. A huge number of people, a concerning number of people, reported that PlayStation had just sent them out in just like a padded envelope, and all of them got destroyed on the way to the people that were buying them. And I'm like, PlayStation, clearly this is something that people are going to want to look at, admire, keep in like a
display.
It's got to look perfect when it gets to the person. All of them fucking destroyed. Completely unacceptable. And if they were to do anything like a controller situation, what's to say they wouldn't just chuck that in a box and then fucking it gets there and then everything's all mashed up? I don't have any confidence in that until they can sort it out. There are other companies out there that go and test packaging and stuff like that. PlayStation, the multi-billion-dollar company, couldn't do something like that.
Yeah, you'd think that they would have an idea of packaging. It's not like Sony doesn't make.
They don't sell products, right? They're just software. They don't do anything.
It's not like you're looking at us on Sony cameras and stuff. Like,
if maybe you say PlayStation's like a new thing, they're going, oh, okay, no problem. Sony, like you said, TVs, cameras, lenses. They sell delicate stuff all the time. They should be able to figure this shit out. This is no excuse.
Yeah. What it is someone was just like, yeah, just get them sent out.
Yeah.
People want them send it. Well, no. Like, also, do you know what? This is the difference is that they don't prioritize the right things. And see, this is the thing. We'll call out any company, especially Sony, because we are at the minute ponies, only because they serve us, right? If I was leading that up, you wouldn't just get a cardboard box.
No.
I would have branding. The whole thing would be branded.
Yeah.
And then that would go in an envelope because I don't want people nicking them.
Yeah.
Right? But I would do my absolute best. Now, not in the sense of like, you know, like iPhones and stuff come in really fancy cases. Yes. It's not going to be that fancy, but like the cardboard, I would try and get it like embossed, you know, printed with like whatever it was. So let's say, for example, if it was a Last of Us thing, there's going to be like a stamp of Ellie and Joel on the front. You know, Jelly and Ol. Or like a clicker or something, right?
Yeah.
Stamped into the cardboard so that you look at it and like, what I want is for people to have to think about, damn, do I want to throw this away?
Yeah.
And people are like, well, you know, it's a cardboard box, they're going to throw it away. Yeah, they will. But I want them to have to pause and think about it and look at it and show their friends. Look how cool this thing was, because then they're going to show 10 or 15 people a fucking cardboard box.
I'd keep the shit out of that just because it's a box.
I would cut that thing out and just stick it up somewhere, you know, and be like
they could either go like the Gucci or Louis Vuitton route, which is like, because PlayStation's a good brand, right? Mm-hmm. They could, whenever you buy like a bag or something like that, it comes with one of those like fabric sort of like wrap overs, something like that to protect it. You could do something like that, PlayStation branded or something like that for all of the stuff that comes from you. And it just adds to the experience and it shows how much more premium you are. Well, fucking chuck it in an envelope and then just send it to people.
There's tons of different things they could do. For example, you know, there were only in America the that collector's edition,
Firefly
Firefly edition. they will know how many they printed, right? Let's say they made 10,000, just as an example. You want to just immediately add value, as well as putting it in a fucking box.
Yeah.
Just add a little card. Certificate of authentication, 997th copy out of 10,000.
Adds so much more value.
It's
just putting
nothing.
a
It doesn't
number
mean
on
anything.
Yeah.
But it does mean something.
A little
it means something to
holographic
you.
PlayStation logo put on it.
Here is, you're a collector. This is a collector's item. It means something to us, and then signed by somebody at Sony, whoever packed the box, authenticated by, Sheps, authenticator at Sony. Boom.
Such great things that
Nothing.
I don't understand how they can't think of anything, and the most they could come up with was just chuck it in an envelope.
Stick it in an envelope.
I didn't like that at all, and I'm glad. I was going to buy the Jotnar edition, right?
Yeah.
For God of War Ragnarok, and I was pissed that I missed out on the one from Game, because Game is a shit company, and they
don't even get me started.
They fucking fucked up your PlayStation. This is
Twice.
Exactly.
Twice.
Exactly. So they're a shit company. Fuck them to hell. I was gonna buy it from PlayStation Direct. It didn't go live in the UK, and it still says coming soon on their website for some reason. I now don't want to buy it. Because what if I'm going to spend like 250 quid and then it's going to come to me all battered and bruised and shit like that?
This is the thing. People don't understand. I think I need to make this very clear. Let's say you do buy the Jotnar edition.
Yeah.
Let's say it arrives when we're both here and it is battered and bruised. We're going to get on camera and talk about how shitty, not the game is, but how shitty Sony is. Because the game, we believe, will be amazing. But if they mess up your collector's edition, of course we're going to say something about it. Why wouldn't we?
And me, who's like, we're both looking forward to it. Granted, right?
Yeah.
We're both looking forward to it. But we're both outstanding, ecstatic, cannot wait. But my experience is going to be so soured by that experience right there. I'll be on camera like, you've ruined the launch of this game.
Absolutely,
for me.
yeah.
I'm going to be happy enjoying the game stuff. I'm going to praise Corey, I'm going to praise Eric Williams, all that stuff, all those guys over there. But you fucked up this initial experience.
Also,
because you've been shit.
It'll be something we always mention.
Yeah, always.
I mean,
you think we mentioned Cyberpunk enough?
Right. But like, this is the thing. Like, I know.
It's so dumb. It's such an easy thing to get right as well.
Yeah, I hope everybody gets that we joke about being Sony ponies, because we really aren't. We've they've made a bunch of mess ups just this year.
Yeah.
It's just that overall they deliver more on the gaming front, which is the thing we're interested in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, just.
But
It's so ridiculous because as far as I'm concerned, and maybe I might be off track, I haven't actually looked at Sony's numbers, but it feels like PlayStation is by far their biggest department. It feels that way. Maybe just
No, it is. Their TVs are regarded as good, but they're a little bit higher priced.
Yeah, I thought Samsung and LG and stuff make way better TVs. Don't
Exactly, and when you're going for it, like, they definitely are king of like the
Yeah.
TV. It's not a very far ahead, but it's something like that. But the camera department, I know they're very good there. But
they're well regarded.
But people who are going professional, they usually go for like the red cameras, the big ass things like that.
Yeah.
So they're in that middle market there. PlayStation, though, they are by far and away the best out there.
And also, it's a massive market.
Exactly.
And there's the thing is, if you're a camera nerd, like, you get your stuff and you get your glass, and then we've got your stuff.
Yeah.
There's nothing to sell you anymore, right? You've spent a bunch of money on glass because, my God, those lenses are expensive. But then you're done.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't know what the margins are on a camera lens, but they can't be easy to make. They're expensive for a reason, not just because they're trying to make money.
There's proper science in there and shit like that.
But like, the games, you can keep selling gamers stuff, and then every few years they need a new console, right? It's a really good market to be in that sense.
Yeah.
And that means that you want to protect not just your customers' perception of the product, but everything along that way, which means having a good response to everything related to the game on the Sony end side.
This is the thing that's this is why I love the conversation of gaming, because PlayStation have nailed the most variable part of gaming, which is making video games. You could make a game that one person really is passionate about, but nobody likes to play. It's totally a subjective thing. It's art. That's why when you go into a museum and you look at something, you're like, that looks awful. But for some reason, it's worth billions of dollars.
The Mona Lisa is so underwhelming.
Apparently, it is
It's
underwhelming.
awful.
I've never
It's
heard it.
terrible.
But that's what art is. And Sony have managed to nail it. The best games ever. Xbox, can't seem to make a good game, and I feel for them because it's hard. It's hard. You have to make
it's not an easy thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of fumbles they're making themselves, but in the end, even if they do everything right, the game can still come out underwhelming because it's a subjective thing. End of the day,
You can do everything right and it not come together. You can
Exactly.
Those tolerances don't stack right, and it's just not good.
But Microsoft are nailing all the stuff that should be so easy, stuff that's calculated, something that you can plan out and everything. Like they put on a banger
marketing.
showcase all the time because they're showmen. They put out controllers that you can buy, peripherals, everything like that. They've got this great service that they can advertise and whatnot. It's just they can't feel that stuff with games at the end of it. And
It's so
Sony are
disappointing.
complete opposite on the other side. They can do all these great games, but everything else they fuck up. Everything else.
I mean,
I don't get it.
The PS5 is stacked to be the perfect console for this. Custom plates should be a thing that just come out on a weekly.
And they make it sound like it's all one guy making the decision and he's overwhelmed with tasks. That's not something that the guy needs. One person is doing. You can have a whole division for plates, whole division for games over here, whole division for the marketing, and they should all be working together on all cylinders.
Yeah.
It seems like it's all one guy.
The plates alone just boggles my mind, right? Like, how hard is it? Okay, get them in PlayStation 1 grey. Cool, done. Hey, what about our premium games? You know, Uncharted, Last of Us, Horizon, God of War. Get something for them. Get me 3 variations, all to go live for each game. Go. You know, why not?
It makes no sense.
Why not? Are you going to do an independent thing, right?
Yeah.
Forget, it's just an example. Ubisoft, they come up with a new Assassin's Creed. Do you want to do a deal with us? Yeah, okay. Let's do some branding stuff. We'll get custom side plates.
Yeah.
Why would you not do that? It's just stacked right for it.
Crazy.
At every point, the fun of owning a PlayStation is in owning a PlayStation, and it could be in more. It could be in the experience, in what you can do with your PlayStation, in changing and customizing it, which is where Xbox is really good. It's no fun actually having an Xbox, but it's fun to have Xboxes in a way. They make it so, look, all cool different things you can do and Game Pass and stuff, but there's nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
You know?
I got that frustration out. I feel better.
Yeah.
Speaking of Assassin's Creed, because we just came up with that topic organically right there, Assassin's Creed Mirage was announced.
Yeah.
The next Assassin's Creed game, supposedly going back to its roots. It's got Basim, which apparently is a guy that in the Assassin's Creed era
If you say so.
things, no idea whatsoever. He's a dude in a thing. It's apparently supposed to be set in, I think it's Iraq is supposed to be setting in.
Yeah.
It's like Middle Eastern. It's a very cool vibe. They showed off a CG trailer, and that is it.
Yeah.
Nothing else. And then they put out pre-orders and collector's editions. And then they announced 4 other Assassin's Creed games coming in the future with code names and shit like that. And I don't understand how that works. You haven't put a shred of gameplay out yet. How can you ask for money?
Because do you remember back in the day, AC Valhalla's thing came out and they're like, gameplay trailer. And it wasn't. And I complained. And those 4 support beams beefed me out about it. And I was right.
Yes. Yes, yours.
Pat myself on the back. And that's what the thing is. That's what their target audience is like. Their target audiences are the Xbots, but within the full games.
It's all about pulling the wool over their eyes. That's what it is.
Yeah, their audience don't care. They are hardcore. If it says AC, they're interested. If it's from Ubisoft, they're interested. They don't care how toxic the company is. Which, you know, I'm sure there's bad things everywhere, right? But like this one has been front and center in this realm for a while now, and it's not getting any better.
Did you see what you've said? So when I was looking at the trailer, I was like, I would like to be excited for this trailer because it looked decent and whatnot. But A, there's no gameplay, but also I can't just get over the fact that like Ubisoft is just a shit company and whatnot. And I would like.
I believe
if
they could
came
make
out,
a good game. I'm not doubting that. Yeah.
Still good people there and stuff like that. And I was like, I wish this came out with a report to say that like what they've done since the allegations and since all of the complaints and since everything happened and whatnot, because then it would make me feel a bit better if they were moving in the right direction.
Yes.
And then we got an article from, I can't remember where it was, but it was Yves Guillemot saying that like they investigated all of the allegations and they turned out that they were old generational differences,
Yes, I saw that.
but within acceptable boundaries. And I was like, hold on a second. If they're generational differences, that's one thing to say. But then when you find out that it's bad, you can't just say that's acceptable.
Yeah, it's a generational difference. Just this generation isn't used to being sexually exploited at work.
Right? And I was
Pardon
like,
me?
I was like, what? Anyway, I just can't get excited for AC for those reasons personally. Everyone's can make their own decision. That's up to you. I'm not going to hold anything against you. That's just my deal right here.
I just,
Assassin's Creed.
you know, what I don't know what else we can say, right? Just to as we've mentioned before, don't think that not buying the game won't make a difference, right? Like, vote with your money. Maybe it doesn't make a difference, maybe it doesn't, but at least you can sleep better at night. And if you really want to play the game, go and pick it up secondhand afterwards. You have to wait a week, it's not a big deal, right? The AC crowd replays these games constantly. You'll play it another 5 times in the next few years because you're a loser.
Got nothing to do with it.
Right. Go and pick it up secondhand. And just make sure that a company that you don't support and don't believe in, you know, in their business practices, doesn't get your money.
Yeah.
And does it make a difference? You on your own? Yeah, maybe not. But our entire combined audiences of like us, James, Tyler, Ethan, Brett.
Yeah.
If every single one of them doesn't buy it and picks it up secondhand, yeah, that'll make a difference.
Yeah.
You know, everybody on Twitter would hold Ubisoft accountable. The thing is, everybody likes to put stuff on social media and then they go and buy the game.
Yeah.
That's not how you do that. Just wait a few days and pick it up. Like,
at least then your conscience is clear.
right, at least then you did everything you could do. And look, the reality is you can't do it for everything, right? Every clothes company uses some sweatshop somewhere, right? Every car manufacturer has someone toxic in their workplace, and yes, they use fossil fuels to, but you know, like, there's always something bad. You can only do the best you can do. And if that is just barely even a minor inconvenience, then it's barely even a minor inconvenience. And waiting a few days to pick up a game secondhand, I would consider a minor inconvenience.
Yeah.
Personally. But then look, some people don't care. But, you know, they're idiots and you're not. Well,
Exactly.
actually, you're one of our subscribers, so...
The jury's out. The next thing that happened, Nintendo did host a direct. They did announce that they weren't going to be streaming it in the UK due to the Queen's passing. Thank you very much for considering our feelings, Nintendo.
I just feel like it might not have been the play.
I was like, before, so this is the thing, there was a reason for it, and I'll give you the reason. But beforehand, I was like, hold on a second. Does Nintendo think that Twitch channels are like radio signals where you can't get them in other countries?
Right.
I was like, what's going to stop me from going to the US account or the Europe account or the Asia account or whatever?
Yeah.
It's like, nothing. What? I'm still going to watch it.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Except I just feel like you tried to keep me out.
Exactly. I was like, I was that. And then they announced the next Zelda game.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And it's called Tears of Kingdom. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, people with common sense aren't going to be worried. But I get your point.
Nintendo's trying to benefit. Except
the whole news in the BBC would just be like, can you believe Nintendo?
Japanese company directly attacks the royal family.
Trying to profit off of the
their
mourning period.
Yeah. Except it's not PlayStation, so they'll be like, oh, it's just
It's true. They
no
won't
one
care.
cares.
No one cares. I was like, okay, look, it was dumb to take it off because no one's really going to care. Well,
Right.
no sane people are really going to care.
Yeah.
But I get your point, Nintendo. You're playing it safe.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right.
I can't say I wouldn't have done it
Yeah.
if it had just happened to be like that terrible of a timing.
Yeah. But also, you got to look at it on the flip side as well. It's not like the news didn't get out.
Right.
It's not like it was like, we didn't air it in the UK. The UK guys didn't see it. Woo-hoo! Woo! We got away with that one,
Right.
boys.
Right, exactly. Like, look, if you, I don't know, hypothetically, like, start a YouTube channel on 9/11,
Right.
right? It's not like no one ever goes to the About section and sees, started on 9/11, you know? I mean, I think...
Actually, do you know what? Because I had to create the channel beforehand.
Yeah.
It actually says the 6th of September.
Okay.
So I'm free of those guys. Except the guys will not let me live it down, though.
I think the other thing, I think you should tell people this, like, because you've got a deep connection with 9/11. Didn't your uncle die on 9/11? He was a pilot, right?
My girlfriend brought that up. She was like, while I don't.
That was a joke. That was 100% a joke for anyone.
I don't practice any religion anymore.
Yeah.
I'm completely atheist and whatnot. But I was born into a Muslim household.
Yeah.
It's like Muslim guy starts a YouTube channel on 9/11. Not a good look. And I'm like, why did you have to add that detail to it? It wasn't bad enough.
1 year anniversary, right? Your intro video is you doctor, so that's not planes, it's DS5s crashing into Twin Towers. And then you come in that full, I forget what it's called, the white dress thing, the robe.
Yeah.
And you should just be, and starting, you don't speak Arabic, do you? But no white person's going to know the difference between Turkish and Arabic. Just start in Turkish.
And then they'll be
just
like,
start in Turkish, and then put up like Arabic signs on the bottom. And be like, commemorating this fantastic day.
Do you remember back in the day? When it was me that would try to get these channels shadow banned?
Oh yeah.
Now I guess you've just been hanging out with me too much. That this is it now.
Hold on a minute, motherfucker. Not yesterday. You was clicking every link in the Twitch chat, and of course,
is that my fault?
Yes.
I shouldn't trust these assholes.
Yes, they are assholes. Of course you don't trust them, especially Sean. I'm surprised that wasn't the first link that went up. I'm surprised it was tame. If it went up on Amazon, it's probably, like somewhat safe for Twitch. Not enough, but like, why are you clicking these links? I told you as well. I was like, bro, don't click these links on stream. Do it over on another thing. You got like 3 monitors. Do it on another monitor. No, every single time. Click, click, click. Boom, there it is.
There you go. Our next topic,
Dick.
if you want to move on. Cyberpunk 2077's first expansion, first and only expansion, has been revealed, called Phantom Liberties. The little teaser trailer they showed shows a V taking an oath to protect the new Americas and whatnot, and Johnny Silverhand in the background saying it's a bad idea, confirming as well that he is coming back for the DLC.
Yep.
Don't know if that was a previous contract thing or if he's actually just doesn't care about how the public perception of Cyberpunk was. However, he's just a voice actor.
The thing with...
Not a big deal.
Just on that note, like, I don't blame Keanu for the game being bad. I blame CDPR for bringing on Keanu. Yeah. Because I do think he's one of the reasons the game didn't go very well. And I think it's because they put a bunch of budget into having Keanu, who I love, and he's great in the game, but actually didn't add anything to the game storytelling wise. It could have been anybody. Yeah. So
they could have got a very talented voice actor and made a very good character.
Yeah, they could have got Sam Witwer, then done a live action and not had Sam Witwer.
Exactly.
You know?
Anyway, they showed off the expansion. I'm a sucker for Cyberpunk.
It's just a great aesthetic.
Such a great aesthetic. And the thing is that they have done a lot to improve it since then. I haven't played it yet. Yeah. I was actually saving it for the 2-year anniversary, which I'm going to play, maybe make a video on it. And if you want to play it as well, we can talk about it on here, but that's up to you.
Yeah.
But they've done a lot to change it. They've completely revamped the attribute system.
Yeah.
I was going to say attribute system, but it's attribute system. There you go. So it's all overhauled, and apparently they're also bringing out a patch very soon that's going to overhaul the police system, the car-to-car combat, add some new abilities and stuff like that. It all seems really good now.
Which is
sucks that it's 2 years after the fucking game came out, because it could have been something amazing.
Yeah.
It's, however, been forever tarnished by the launch of the game.
Yes. Which is really bad, because the online community, like in particular PC, they seem to really love it. There is if you look at just Google like Cyberpunk like best steps, these videos have like hundreds of thousands if not millions of views, but like
they've managed to do what we will never be able to do, is remove all of that hype that they added that was unwarranted, all of the expectations that they set and didn't correctly control, and the terrible launch from the beginning, because obviously they didn't have it, they had it on PC, which was the premiere version and whatnot. They've managed to remove all of that from their head and all of that from their experience, so they've then enjoyed the game, and it is good underneath. It is, when you remove all that stuff, it's just, however, we expected so much more, so much better, and then they fumbled it out of the gate. They're doing something that we told them to do right at the beginning. The next expansion is going to be next-gen exclusive, current-gen exclusive. PS4 and Xbox One is all completely gone.
That's so anti-consumer.
Ridiculous that was the idea in the beginning. You fucked yourself up for that. But anyway, they're doing that, which is a great news right there. I'm looking forward to it. I want to go back in there with everything fixed, hopefully, with all of the new systems in place, with the brand new expansion, and hopefully it will make me love Cyberpunk. Hopefully it will make it less painful to look at that chair. That's the main thing.
The thing is the aesthetic. That chair looks great. The design for Cyberpunk looks great. In a weird way, I don't want it to be good.
Yeah?
Because,
You feel like it should be a lesson or something?
Yeah, and I hate the idea that a game could end up being amazing and just forever tarnished and hated appropriately, but then end up being this incredible thing, you know? And people go, oh, but The Witcher had its bumps. Yeah, it had its bumps.
Bumps. That's nothing.
Games have bumps, but like, not like this. So
this was the only game that I've ever known of to be delisted from the fucking PlayStation Network. There are games that you buy specifically just to get a platinum trophy.
Yeah.
It's one button and it goes through and then you get a platinum trophy. On PlayStation, they've not been delisted.
Yeah.
But Cyberpunk 2077 was. Let that be... Put that in your head.
also, like, look, it's the most awaited game ever.
Yeah.
It was the most awaited game ever by just about everyone agreed this was going to be the best game of all time. You know? And I just feel like it would be an extra punch in the gut and like salt in the wound if it ended up being just an incredible game. The story actually is pretty trash.
The thing is, it's based on our expectations. That's the thing. I don't mind the story. The
Story's
ending,
okay.
Ending's a little bit
The
weird.
ending, that's the thing. It doesn't come together very well, but like
There's bits in between. I'm like, this
the
is actually
journey's
really
really
cool.
good fun.
I like
the
this, I
journey's
like
good
that.
fun. It just ends trash.
Yeah.
And just a little bit of me thinks this really should always end up as a warning, and it should never. So no one should go like in 5 years' time. They go, we're going to have like the best game ever. Well, let's see what happened to Cyberpunk, the last best game ever. Oh, look how good it is.
Yeah.
No. Look how bad it was.
I get your. I like that. I'm with you on that.
But I
I'm
always
with
want
you
good
on that.
games. Like
That's the
yeah.
side I'm coming down on in the end. I get your point 100%. Not saying anything wrong about that.
Because
But I would like a good game in the
I
end.
do
that's
feel
the
like
thing.
Cyberpunk, had it been just not awful when it released, is the sort of game, because of when it's set, that could get expansions every 2 years for the next 10 years. Because it's just a great place to play in, you know? Or could have been. And that's kind of the game I would have happily bought. Had it been like The Witcher, just set in the future, basically, I would have happily bought a DLC every 2 years for the next 10 years to come back to Cyberpunk, right? But they messed it up. And I just feel like, look, if you're going to mess up, just leave it messed up. And admit that you messed up, learn from it, move on, and go forward. Because now the whole IP's killed. There was supposed to be another game at some point. That's never going to happen.
Well, this is the thing. They said, while they said this as well, they were like, this is the last, this is the first and only expansion.
Yeah.
But we're still very committed to Cyberpunk. And I was like, what do you mean?
I feel like that means they're committed to keeping it running and stuff. I don't feel like Cyberpunk.
I don't know. I took it as they're going to just go on to the sequel and then make the sequel good. That's
The
how I
thing
took
is,
it. Maybe that's...
if they leave it long enough, then, and they're smart and honest, then they can actually use the fact that they had the biggest flop of all time to market the Cyberpunk 2087 or whatever they call it, 2069, whatever you call it. Like, if they're smart and honest, but as we saw with the last game, they were neither of those things.
Yeah.
So, but I love the aesthetic. You know, it's like, the worst thing is there's a couple of devs. I feel like the team's like maybe 10 people, but they're making basically a Cyberpunk style game, and it looks amazing. I forget the exact name of it.
Is it Ghost Runner?
Might be. But that's got all the stuff Cyberpunk didn't have. It's got a working tran system. It's got a police system.
Oh, it's not that thing. It's something else. But
I'll try and find it. It just... And this was a handful of people that made this thing happen. Cyberpunk game that isn't Cyberpunk game that isn't Cyberpunk. Let me see if I can
I
find
don't know
it.
if that's gonna come with anything. I'm thinking like Google. I'm like, what? Google's just looking at you like, what the fuck?
Who is this guy?
It's that meme with the girl that's like,
What? No, I don't think it is Ghost Runner.
What today? Sorry.
No, not you.
Don't worry about it. It's, the point is that was made by a handful of people and they can nail it. And these guys are
Right.
Hundreds of people in their studio and still like.
And it had all the
nothing.
stuff that you want to see, right? Like it had the wall running and being able to vault over stuff and combat that actually looked good and flying cars and trams and stuff. Like you want basically Blade Runner and then decide what your combat looks like. And it just wasn't it. And I feel like the only way to do it properly is leave it a good while and then admit that you made the worst game ever and therefore have learned how not to make the worst game ever.
We had to make the bad game in order to know how to make the good game. So.
Exactly. And also Siri can be in this one now
There you go.
and not just on a magazine cover. Douchebags.
That's so sad. Such an underwhelming thing right there. Anyway, next topic.
Yeah.
So, talking about the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
A little bit more of a progress has been made there. When I say progress, I mean it's been halted by the UK CMA regulatory system.
Yeah.
So they announced that they are going into a further step into investigating on whether or not this is actually a fair deal and whether or not they pose anti-competitive threats to the rest of the gaming industry. And they gave them 5 days to make their cases, each side, PlayStation and Xbox, to say what they're going to say, and then they will decide based on that. They made the decision that it requires further investigation. They've gone deeper into it and they're probing and finding out more information. Now, Phil Spencer came out, and one of his cases was, he was like, look, we're not going to buy Activision to try and take games away from people. We want everyone to play.
Yeah.
He goes, in January, I made a written agreement with PlayStation that we would keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for the remainder of the contract and for several years afterwards, he said.
Yeah.
After that, Jim Ryan came out and he said, look, I don't like to make statements on stuff that I thought was going to be private discussions between two businesses, but I have to set the record straight. Apparently, the agreement that he was talking about, where he said several years, was 3 years. Mm-hmm. So 3 years on top of the agreement, which is going to lead to something like 2027. And then after that, it's unknown what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Several does actually mean 3 or more.
Yes.
So
it does.
it's the bare minimum to qualify as several.
Right.
Right?
Like a couple is 2.
Right?
A few is up to 4.
Yeah.
And several is 3 or more.
3 or more. Now, here's the funny thing. So Phil Spencer made that statement so that the regulatory bodies would be like, oh, well,
Well, here
he
we
is
go.
playing ball. He's being fine. He's being
Look
fair
at
and
this
stuff
tweet.
like that.
He said the thing.
Several. That could mean.
That could mean as many as 3 or more.
Exactly. That could mean plenty of years, but that just shows they're playing ball. But then when Jim Ryan comes out and he makes the statement, he's like, look, so actually what he said was 3 more years, the bare minimum to qualify for that. The regulatory bodies, they have to be like, you tried to pull the wool over our eyes, didn't you? You tried to get one past us. That's what you tried to do. Now, the regulatory bodies aren't judges, but if you was to go to a judge, you was to go, look, the judge was to go, where was you on the night of thing? It's like, was you in the country? It's like, I have been in the country.
Right.
And then they go, okay, no problem. Then they come back and they find that you wasn't in the country. Why did you lie to us and tell us you was in the country? I said I have been in the country. Right. I didn't say I was in the country. You think the judge is going to go, ah, shit, he got us there.
Ah, good.
Case
Well
dismissed.
played. Well played.
Case dismissed, you're free. They're not going to be like, no, I'm more pissed with you now because you lied to me.
This really depends on whether or not someone at the regulatory bodies thinks that they can make their career off taking Xbox to task.
Yes.
Because if they do, they'll push for this to actually go to like a trial or something so that they can beat them and they can be the guy that beat Microsoft.
Exactly.
If that happens, then all of this media training from that what's his face Phil Spencer goes through is going to be used to bury him.
Used as evidence against him. That's
Right.
exactly what
I mean, that's why when they arrest you, say you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Exactly.
And that's what they're going to do to him. and he will have to give straight answers. And generally speaking, like if you give obscure answers and you're on the defense, that just looks like you're lying. That's a bad thing.
This whole situation, I was 100% confident that this was going to go through. I was like, all this politics talk, all these regulators, they're just looking for money end of the day. Once they get paid whatever they find their commission from something, it will all be fine. That's all they're doing. They may be giving them a hard time, but really they're looking for a paycheck underneath the table, right?
Right.
That's really what they're for.
So-and-so left such body and got an executive position at Microsoft 2 years later. What?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I'm looking for. But with Phil Spencer being caught out in a lie here, or caught out in misleading the regulator, that makes me think that you've now made them tried to make them look stupid. Now I think there's a reasonable percentage that maybe possibly this doesn't go through. And that's going to be devastating if that happens for Microsoft.
The thing with
they're almost banking the entire future on this acquisition.
On owning Activision. The thing with this is, I don't know whether or not it doesn't go through. What I do think is that if there's anybody that was at the regulatory body that was just doing their job and has any sense of like curiosity or like investigative like notions to themselves, that when they then hear that and they're like, this guy directly tried to mislead us with his answers, that person is now going to start digging where they wouldn't have before, and they're going to be like, this guy is trying to mislead us in a way that is legal. To he's not specifically saying stuff, but he's trying to lead us in a certain way. I want to see what he's hiding. Yeah. And that happens all the time. Anybody with even basic investigative like senses, just if you pique that wrong guy's like interest, suddenly he's going to start digging, right? Or she. And that might be what's happened. And that guy will just become obsessed and then find something. And which means this deal could have been totally okay, and Phil Spencer just media trained his way into fucking a deal.
Exactly. I mean, all they need to do is, and I'm sure this has been brought to their attention, but if you look at the before, in fact, sorry, I'm reading it right here. It has been brought to their attention. So the CMA examined internal documents in economics, analyzed this as whether Microsoft can be like that, and they bring up the Bethesda deal. Prior to the acquisition, they pull out a quote that Microsoft made. Said this deal was not done to take games away from any other player base or like that. Nowhere in the documentation we put together does it say how do we keep players from playing games.
Bro, one internal email where they're like, can't wait to take this away.
And then but then there's proof in the pudding. Where like, so Starfield isn't available on PlayStation. What about the next game? Is that going to be available? And then if you publicly don't say yes, it is, like the next Elder Scrolls game, for example. If you don't say yes, then that is going to arouse suspicion in them. They're going to be like, okay, so you said this and then you did the exact opposite. What's to stop you as soon as we give you the green light for this?
Do you know what's awful though?
It's
because I'm on the other side of that. That's the thing. I'm the other side of this where I'm like, well, they bought not BioWare, Bethesda. If they want to make Elder Scrolls exclusive, they can do that. But the problem is they've said we're not taking games away from anyone with these acquisitions, and now they're in a legal dispute. And I actually think Xbox would really benefit from having something like Elder Scrolls, particularly because I'm not invested in it. But like, and the last one was 12 years ago. Like if they're like, look, Elder Scrolls 6 exclusive to Xbox and PC, or exclusive to Xbox and PC for 3 months, which I think they should do a timed exclusive where you can only play the game for like the first 6 months and then it can go to PlayStation or something. Like, they should be allowed to do that. Except that they said that they don't do that. And now they can't do that.
Hypocrisy again.
Yeah, but this is our big thing, is hypocrisy.
That's the big deal.
I actually don't mind villains. I don't mind people doing shitty stuff as long as they're fairly honest about it.
Exactly. And this is the thing. A lot of people called out the hypocrisy in that statement. Can I read the Jim Ryan what he said in his statement? So this is what he said in
Jim
the response
Ryan, by
to
the way, just the PlayStation branded Phil Spencer.
Exactly.
With somehow with less charisma.
I'm gonna way less charisma.
And I can't stand the slimy bastard that is Phil Spencer, and I'd prefer him to Jim Ryan.
This whole thing is going to sound so whiny, by the way. I've read it and I'm like, you sound like a little bitch. Like, your PlayStation, I get what you're probably trying to do. Wait, let me read it.
Let's hear it.
It says, I had intended to comment. I hadn't intended to comment what I understood to be a private business discussion, but I feel like I need to set the record straight because Phil Spencer brought this into the public forum. Microsoft has only offered Call of Duty to remain on the PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement between Activision, between the current agreement after Activision and between Activision and Sony ends. After almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, their proposal was inadequate on many levels and failed to take into account the impact on our gamers. You don't give a shit. Shut the fuck up.
No. Okay.
We guarantee PlayStation gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStations will continue to have the highest quality Call of Duty experience, and Microsoft's proposal undermines that principle. Shut. You don't care about us. You care about your bottom line. That's what you care about.
Also, don't you're winning the game. Like, you're winning. Exactly. You're complaining. Imagine you're Usain Bolt and you're complaining that the guy in last place is doping.
It's so whiny, isn't it? So why are you complaining? This is so dumb.
Yeah. How about you say, just like Phil Spencer, I believe we all win when we all play. But I'm not going to comment on saying, I'm going to leave the regulatory body to decide if it's within the bounds. And look, I'm just going to focus on PlayStation. That's my job, is to focus on PlayStation and our user base and our gamers.
That's what I wish it was. I just wish it was focusing on yourself.
I'm just some idiot that makes shitty YouTube videos here and there. And if we can do this,
if it would be so much. How much more of a statement would it be if Phil Spencer's doing his usual political talk, PR talk, or whatever, media train shit, constantly throwing shit, even though he's got nothing to show for it, and then PlayStation is just go ahead over here making fantastic games. So much better.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Jim Ryan, what do you think about this whole stuff with Microsoft? I think I'm going to let that play out on its own, and I'm going to focus on making great games for PlayStation.
So much better. This whole bitchiness, this kind of, the only thing I can think the objective is here is I think PlayStation know that the likelihood of this going through is quite high, and what they're trying to do is delay it as much as possible so that they can eventually come out with their own version of something.
Right.
Because there are a bunch of first-person shooters being worked on, but they're nowhere near ready, and obviously, who knows if it's going to bang straight out of the gate, so you need to wait for the next one or the next one or the next one. So I think they're just trying to kick the can down the road and be like, we'll get, hopefully that we don't get to, can we push it a little bit further?
I understand that a guy like Jim Ryan is going to have a much better perspective of how PlayStation is doing in comparison to Sony, Microsoft in different areas. From the game perspective of it, they can't even see Microsoft. You need a telescope and to be up a mountain if you even saw them. I wouldn't freaking worry about it.
Yeah.
And there'll be enough people that would just go. I mean, the other thing is it's a double-sided sword, right?
Yeah.
Okay, COD is exclusive to Xbox.
Right.
Okay. Who's buying it then?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who's buying it?
Because
the people that buy the games are on PlayStation.
That's the need to remember, everybody, is that the people that pay for games are on PlayStation. There's a reason why all these Square Enix games are coming exclusive to PlayStation. One of them is that PlayStation offered them a big bag of money.
Yes, they do.
But also, Square Enix was like, well, we're not fucking selling anything over here anyway, so we might as well take the big bag of cash and then get all the sales from everything on PlayStation.
Yeah.
People are always like, oh, PlayStation did the bad thing. PlayStation may have offered them some money, but Square Enix are under no reason to take that money. If they see that we're going to make a lot of sales over here...
Microsoft has more money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of sales over here. Well, honestly, PlayStation have offered us almost the same deal, plus we're going to get all the sales.
Yeah. Right.
That's the simple answer of it. I don't know why people are pretending like PlayStation came in and they strong-armed. They were like,
right,
you're going to give us these exclusive and you're going to take this big check.
And you're going to take them. Here, see, you're going to give us exclusive rights to Final Fantasy, see? It's not how that happened. It's not how it happened.
So dumb.
And we've seen it anytime any of this data comes out, we see what happens. Also, I think it's kind of telling that we only see data from Sony, which is usually if someone's not showing you something, it's very on brand for Phil Spencer to say things and not show you anything.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's really where it comes down to. On the one hand, because we're no longer really in the COD space, like, I don't. Me personally, I don't care. I also like. Here's the 2 points I see specifically with Call of Duty. One, the only people buying the game are on PlayStation, so it's not in anyone's benefit to take it away. And it's up to them if they do. But you've got the next 5 years of CODs, right? Two, all of the best performing Call of Duties in terms of money are free online battle royales with microtransactions. And it doesn't make sense to make a free battle royale
limited
exclusive.
Yeah.
So why do we care? Let them bluster and say whatever they want. What I really suspect actually is that they're using this as marketing just to keep Xbox in the discussion. And if people are complaining about Xbox, they're still talking about Xbox. And they're talking about Xbox as if they're equal with PlayStation. Which isn't true, at least not right now. So,
do you want to know what the actual problem is with PlayStation? Why they're so up in their arse about Call of Duty and stuff like that?
Go.
It's because of how much money they get from Call of Duty just by being on the platform. My eyes were open to this. So in Fortnite, if you buy a skin, 30% of that cost comes to you. I think it's like, what is it, 20? I can't remember how much it is, but I think it was something like the Dragon Ball Z skin was something like $20, something like that. I don't know. These numbers I'm pulling out.
Sure,
But let's say it's $20, right? And they get 30% of that. If they make like 10 sales, they've got incalculable amount.
Incalculable.
I shouldn't. Let me get a calculator out. So like
60, right?
20 divided by times it by 0.3, you get $6 out of that. Times that by 10, you get $60. Let's make it a bit more. Let's make it times by 12, and then you get $70. Just from 12 transactions of microtransactions from one of the most popular free-to-play games out there that people just were willing to spend money to, you've already got the cost of one single game.
Oh, well, also you're forgetting one thing. There's a fee to buy V-Bucks or whatever it is.
That as well.
That goes to the platform. Then you spend it. That goes to the platform.
It's because I think PlayStation see there's so much money to be made in just having someone else's game that's very popular, like Call of Duty, on your system, which makes you so much money. And I think PlayStation count on that money coming in so much to invest into their studio so they can make their name bigger and stuff like that.
Well, that's what you do with the money. What are you doing, Xbox? Anyway.
So, and that's why I think they're so bent out of shape about it. Not because they care about Call of Duty coming to their thing, it's because they care about the money that they're getting from it.
But again, all the money, the big money, and that's why you see all these updates going on to whatever the COD Battle Royale's called. I know this. Warzone.
We're smart people.
Because they make so much money.
Yeah.
And they're free to play shooters. Now, hypothetically, let's say you took an amazing IP, a well-known, high-profile first-person shooter IP,
yes,
and you made it free to play online.
Yes.
And you kept it exclusive to Xbox, and nothing happened. You'd go, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe 100 million plus users is going to make us a bit more money than it matters to have it on that platform.
It's going to be so petty if they do that. It's going to be so petty, and I hope it gets called out because that's just so dumb. It's like you gave up billions of dollars.
Oh yeah, actually billions. Yeah, I mean,
billions of dollars, so you can just screw people over.
Fortnite was doing 250 million months in like 2019, wherever its peak year was. Yeah. Silver lining. They do keep it console exclusive, and then someone at Microsoft finally goes, "Yo, what the frick is going on?"
Yeah.
Someone goes, "Why is this game not bringing us billions a year like the previous titles did? What changed? Oh, you kept it to Xbox exclusive. What about these hundreds of millions of potential customers over here? Oh, you're trying to scream for something? No. That's not how business works. Yeah. Get the money. You're out, and then maybe someone that can make a decent business decision. Someone comes in and goes, put this game where the most people can buy my stuff now. And then they go, how do other people make money in this field when it isn't this model? You make great games, third-person, story-driven RPGs. Okay, let's make a few of those. What IPs do we have? Okay, great. Where's some other money? Oh, family games? What IP do we have? Banjo-Kazooie. My kids I used to play as a kid. Make a Banjo-Kazooie. You guys make a Banjo-Kazooie. You guys make a freaking Bioshock that doesn't suck.
It almost seems like like Phil Spencer has something like blackmail for the people making the decisions. That he just gets to do whatever he wants, all these insanely bad business decisions, just for the sake of making someone else suffer.
Right. And it feels that way, innit?
And if they do,
I bet like he just has this personal beef. Like Shuhei forgot his name at some corporate meeting once. He's like, you know what?
Freaking Spinach, right? What's it?
Yeah.
No,
James Spinach, right?
Right. And then they call it, Popeye the Sailor Man.
Oh, Spinach son.
And he's like, oh fuck, I'll show you. Anyway, if they do that, it'd be absolutely insane. I can't.
So silver lining, maybe they just make enough problems. Imagine that guy comes in, sees all these mistakes, and then's like, okay, so our premium service Game Pass, show me the numbers.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute.
Oh,
wait a second.
Hold up.
Something's not right here. You know. Fingers crossed in it.
Let me do a few wrap-up stories right here. So there's some rumors that went out there. Apparently, from the Real Insider, this guy's actually quite a known leaker and good stuff. He goes, he's just got word that a AAA PlayStation new IP will be revealed in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Exciting stuff.
Okay.
Who knows what that is? It's a brand new IP. We had some thoughts about it, but nothing really springs to mind who it could be. I don't think it'd be Sony Santa Monica because they've got God of War to promote and it would kind of undermine it.
I don't think it's going to be any of the new like Fire brand or whatever the frick they were called, because I would not be willing to call a new IP before anyone's seen it AAA. I also, nothing against Sony Bend, but I wouldn't consider Days Gone like AAA. It's a great game, but I wouldn't consider it a AAA.
I think it's AAA. It's just that what people's impressions of AAA.
That's what I mean. Like you're right. It is a AAA game. Yeah. The reality is when people say AAA and on Sony they think The Last of Us, God of War. Quality. Right. They think like, and I'm sure Sony Bend could do it. I'll be honest. To be clear, if you'd have told me in 2018, oh yeah, Sucker Punch is going to reveal a AAA samurai game, I'm like, okay, the infamous guys, like I like those games, but you know, maybe let's not.
The guys who made Spider-Man.
That's right. Like, let's not play fast and loose. So, but you know, then sometimes you do get these studios that come out of nowhere.
Who knows? Especially with how like good they are at making good games now, it could be that they're like sharing the secret sauce, sharing what makes things good go around and stuff like that. So who knows? I'm excited. PlayStation stock levels are apparently really getting a lot better, and it was the #1 sold console in the UK, outbeating the Switch, which the Switch is selling fucking units left, right, and center.
Also, because
amazing
the
that
price difference is what 3x for a Switch now.
Exactly.
So
and also to go from we have no stock to we have enough stock to outsell the Switch is like crazy.
Also, when was it 3 months ago when the Xbox sales, we don't know of which console, presumably both, were outpacing Sony in those like months
in like Japan or something.
Yeah,
like that.
they were like, "Oh, Sony's dead," blah blah blah. Like it was 1 month.
No word.
Also, I'm pretty sure the next month it dropped. So anyway,
Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 5 is apparently exceeding expectations, according to Marvel higher-ups. Apparently, they're very, very... they're loving what they're seeing so much that they're like, it's exceeding expectations. The fluidity and the visual punch is striking, according to one Marvel employee.
Let me just temper your expectations there.
Don't do that. Don't do that to me.
Those same higher-ups okayed She-Hulk.
Fair point. All right, take everything back I said. That's
I don't want anybody to be disappointed because I don't want to be disappointed. Now, in fairness, as we said, it's Sucker Punch making Spider-Man 2.
Famous for that.
Famous for Spider-Man games.
That's what they put them on the map.
Like, look, I trust. We got burnt with CDPR, but like, has Insomniac ever made a bad game? Insomniac,
maybe the Ratchet and Clank game that was based off of the movie.
Rated game, yeah, but that was just wasn't one of the best Ratchet and Clanks. It was one of the worst Ratchet and Clanks. They don't make bad Ratchet and Clanks; they make ones you don't like as much. And also because Ratchet and Clank was that whole thing, the games are tongue in cheek. Then the movie was tongue-in-cheek. Then they made a game off the tongue-in-cheek movie of the tongue-in-cheek game, so it was all tongue-in-cheek. You know what I mean? It wasn't the best. By far, it was not the best Ratchet & Clank game, but it wasn't bad. Okay, so IMDb has rated the best to worst, or worst to best. Okay, Ratchet & Clank 3 is the one they say is their worst game ever.
That's the movie one, right?
I think so. I forget, when did it come out? 2004. That feels late. That feels too early. Anyway, but like, let me read you their worst games: Ratchet & Clank, Spyro, Ratchet & Clank, Ratchet & Clank, Ratchet & Clank, Ratchet & Clank, Spyro 2, Resistance, Spyro,
Whoa!
Ratchet & Clank, Resistance, Sunset Overdrive, Ratchet & Clank, Disruptor, Ratchet & Clank, Edge of Nowhere, which is one game I haven't heard of. So like,
how is Resistance so far down? Bullshit.
but this is what I'm saying, is like, none of those are bad games.
Yeah.
This is just their worst games, and they're still like just monstrously good.
Yeah. Apparently, though, we'll be seeing gameplay of that soon. Allegedly. That's a rumor right now, so there's that. Do you have anything else to say?
So that, just say, this was ranked... Oh, sorry, it was ranked best to worst. So the very worst game was Ratchet & Clank Full Frontal Assault, which still has a 6.5 rating. That's their worst game. 6.5 is okay.
Not bad, yeah.
So, anyway.
All right, let's kick it over to some of our bros who wrote in about the PlayStation state of play.
Yeah.
Their thoughts and how they felt about it, and some interesting stuff. I'll read out from, starting with The Bat Fan. The Bat Fan wrote in and he said, "Hey Eddie and Sheps, congratulations on the channel launch, Ed. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. What a perfect day to launch." They are not going to let me live that down forever. With God of War Ragnarok revealed that the stat of play, because I wrote stat of play instead of state of play.
Of course you did.
Do you think that means Sony are leaning back into giving customizable options for controllers and consoles? If successful, I think it could push Sony to rethink more about player customization. Granted, a niche market, but I want God of War Ragnarok PS5 covers, plus they're already high in demand from Batfan. PS, can't wait to see Sheps as Brock in Ragnarok.
These little shits.
Unfortunately, I don't think this is sign of anything.
I agree.
As PlayStation fans, we know that PlayStation do dumb stuff
all the time.
This controller could sell out more than the consoles. This could sell more than the consoles.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And PlayStation would be like, that's interesting, and ignore it completely.
Yep. Yeah, they told that's so on brand.
So I am not going to take anything until I fucking see it.
We're talking about the company that went, we'll do some custom plates for the PS5. Let's make them grey. Let's do it camo. What?
They did when it was the PS4 generation, they did that beautiful 20th anniversary PS1 style grey thing.
Yes, they did.
And they put so much effort into that. Now, to keep that special, maybe you do something a little bit less than that. No problem. But that sold all of them in 10 seconds.
The complete sold out.
All of them in 10 seconds.
I'll tell you how you sell out of DS5s worldwide. Just add some freaking colour to those buttons. Everybody wants that nice orange circle button, don't they?
Exactly.
That nice orange circle button. Audio virgins, you're missing out.
I'm not gonna take anything for. I have to see it before I believe it. Okay, see it before I believe it. I didn't even believe this Pro controller was going to be a thing. But the only reason why I think that's going to be a thing is because I think it's going to be very expensive.
I agree with you. I think it will be quite expensive. I mean, it would be a real power play if that comes out at like 149, which sounds expensive, but the reality is like scuff controls are over 200.
One thing we didn't mention, people don't know, it's going under the radar. The case that comes with it is actually a charging case.
Yeah.
So it's like, I've got the cradle thing where I put my controllers on there. It's like, if you keep the case open and then you just plop it down, it charges it for you. I was like, that's quite cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So yeah.
Also, I don't need it. If it'll save me 20 quid.
I was going to say,
this
is all leading up to things that's going to be very expensive.
Right.
Like, $250. All right, guys, I'm out here.
Like, it's just, goddamn it, Sony, what are you doing? Also, what I was going to say, sorry, about that controller is we covered PSVR 2 pattern leaks in years ago.
Yes.
Like, I want to say 4 years ago.
It was a while, yeah.
Like on the old channel.
Yeah.
And we were totally right. So just because they're thinking about doing a thing, it could take a long time for them to actually do it. You know,
at the glacier pace that Sony seem to do everything in. And there's that one guy that makes all the decisions. Obviously, they can't make departments or anything like that. They have to wait for his plate to be empty,
right?
And then he comes over and is like, "Yes,
right." I mean, when he goes on annual leave, mate, Sony just grinds to a halt.
PlayStation shut down. The next comment from Gams Master over at patreon.com/conversations, just like you guys can if you're a great patron of ours. He writes in, he says, "G'day, bros. Love the new channel, Eddie. Keen to see what you have in mind for the future." Thank you so much, bro. Really appreciate it. Everyone was very kind and supportive. I really appreciate you guys. Keep the support going. That'd be really helpful to me, and that. But I'll continue to make the great content for you guys. I mean,
I feel like this is a very one-sided relationship. They're supporting you and you're doing nothing.
I'm doing nothing.
You're making great content.
Do you know what pissed me off the most? It pissed me off / didn't. When everyone subscribed, I was like, right, my next video has to bang.
Yeah.
I was like, great content creators do that. I've got all these subscribers. I want to make them something they're going to go, I'm glad I subscribed.
Yeah.
And then the State of Play trailer came out and I was like, shit.
It's going to have to be
I have to upload a reaction video. And they're kind of low effort, but they're good.
Yeah, they do well.
But they're not. But it's low effort. Am I going to put a low effort video out? Fuck, I have to do it. All right, go on, then I do it. And I'm like, my next video was going to be about will Kratos die in God of War Ragnarok? Ooh. A nice thing. And it fucked me up. Anyway, Gams Master. I thought the State of Play was excellent, despite being mostly weeb games. It was pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, it was mostly weeb games.
Some of them did look cool, though, I can't lie. The exclusive mission to Hogwarts looks great, and oh my god, God of War Ragnarok looks amazing, and of course. But the trailer we got was absolutely stunning. I do think, however, they may have shown a little bit too much, but I'm not complaining. The limited edition controller looks amazing. I'll be making sure to pick one up. Again, like it was in the middle for me personally. I would have gone a little bit further with my design.
I think it was way too relaxed, yeah.
I will say, as the guy who's going to have everything God of War, I'm going to buy one and keep it on my shelf.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, I'm not saying don't get it. I'm saying I would have taken it further.
Do you know what I did like about it that I thought was very good? You know, on the DualSense controller, the black inlay around the thumbs, it's like pearl white.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, I love that.
It looks good. There are some nice touches, but I think it could have looked great, and it just all been nice touches. I feel like it's a controller that you'll take it out of the box, you'll look at it, and you'll see everything. Yeah. Where I feel like it should be a controller, in 2 years' time, you pick it up, turn it over for some reason, and realize, oh my god, instead of like circles and squares and triangles, there's like, runes. Yeah. Spell out like Ragnarok across it. Something like that.
People said that they could have put some like runic symbols on there. That would have been really nice little touch and stuff like that. What I really want is to flip it over, and I want there to be a quote from an executive on there. Like when we all play, we all win, perhaps in the on the battery. Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Or Spencer.
Or it should say like, just got the platinum for Fall Guys. Check out Shuhei Yoshida on Twitter.
It's like he's promoting his own Twitter. It's like, follow me on Twitter, guys. YoSP. I would have to concede all of my comedic abilities. I'm like, what? There's nothing funnier in life.
Real recognize real, you know?
I'd have to just be like, that's it.
I think if they gave us the reins, obviously we would fix up the stupid stuff Sony does, but I would 100% find like something just so corporatese that went out in an email and do like every now and then like the yearly worst corporate quote from Sony. That we'd release 100 PS1 grey corporate bullshit signed things, so it'd be like, let's circle back to that on the next meeting, vis-a-vis, blah, blah, blah.
Everyone would be on edge. They'd be like, could this email turn out to be in the list control?
Right.
Anyway, so he continues. He'd be like, absolutely stunning. But the trailer was absolutely stunning. I do have a thing they showed too much. I'm picking one up. As for the Ubisoft showcase, he's talking about that.
Yeah.
No one wants to hear about this, but okay. It was the biggest waste of time ever. If I was still into it, I would think that AC Mirage looks good, but I know better. Good lad, good lad. Ubisoft looks like they're going the route of Disney by announcing a stupid amount of projects for the next few years. Looks like their motto with quantity over quality. Exactly.
I'm glad you said that, because we all got subjected to constant replayings of Let It Go from Frozen in like 2017 or whenever that movie came out. And then they made Frozen 2. And do you know why we never heard anything from Frozen 2? Because it sucked.
Exactly.
Right? Most of the time, they make one great movie and then they eke out another 2 or so movies in the same universe with the same characters, and they suck. And every single time, you can see the animation getting worse, the story getting worse, the acting and the scripts getting worse. And I have a sneaking suspicion that's what's happening with this Basim dude, where they were like, all of this whole thing sucks. Our perfectly accurate historical Viking game that sucked, and people complained about it. Let's just go back to the stuff people don't complain about anymore, not realizing that they don't complain about those games because they were good, but they're like, oh, people just prefer to play in like medieval Iraq.
It's clearly the setting that was the problem.
Right. And let's make the same main character. Like, okay, cool, but the reason people like those games is those games were good and made with passion, you know, and people didn't know you were abusing your staff. That's why those games are good.
Yeah.
So, like, I do have a sneaking suspicion that we're going to start to see games closer towards, like, the movie quality than they were the OG game quality, you know? Fassbender for Basim, you know?
Obviously, that's clearly the choice right there. You guys, only now that AC has gone to shit, they decide to make a game in Japan. Fuck Ubisoft.
Well, I mean, we were...
Cheers, lads.
People have been... Yeah, thank you, bro. People have been asking for an AC Japan for, like... How long have we known those guys as the Four Pillars, though?
13, I think.
Pretty much since then, yeah?
2012, something like that.
Yeah, someone says... It was about... Yeah, it's been a long time people have been saying, you know, what would bang an Assassin's Creed in Japan?
Yeah.
And then Ghost of Tsushima comes out, and it's amazing. And people are like, it's like Assassin's Creed in Japan, except it's good. And then they bring out their own games, and they suck. And so they give up, and they go, well, let's just do the cash grab. Let's just do what they want. But the thing is, doing what people want, if you're only doing it because you think they'll buy it, is a bad idea.
Yeah.
But, hey, bad idea, Ubisoft... Who can tell the difference between those words? I can't.
Exactly the same. Corporate wants you to tell us the difference between these two pictures.
They're the same picture.
They're the same.
I love that.
It's so great. Kicking over to our Discord server. Our boy Antijuice says, the God of War trailer was crazy. But is it just me who thought they showed a little bit too much? So Gamsmaster said that, and Antijuice said that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
How do you feel?
I understand what they're saying. As someone who I am, if you're newer around here, really, really keyed into trailers that show too much. Like, how many times have I seen a trailer and like called an entire movie? Not that I'm super smart. I just follow the clues they give really easily. I called Hydra episode 1 of frickin' WandaVision.
And then he came out as She-Hulk. 7 shows.
Called it! That's how advanced I am. So I know what you're saying. I think that Sony Santa Monica has a really good idea of what they think you think is going to happen, and are showing you stuff that you think is going to happen and not what the game's about. I don't think the game is about fighting Thor overall. This is
my point I'm going to bring up in a trailer breakdown right at the beginning. I've written down in my script. I was like, do you guys remember the first God of War 2018 gameplay that they showed off? Did we play that? No,
we didn't. That's what I'm saying.
Do you remember, I mean, the classic thing that we know from Marvel's Avengers, the Infinity War, with Captain America holding Thanos' hand?
Yeah.
No glove. And then when you get to the movie, glove with fucking gems all up in it.
Or like the Spider-Man, where you see Tom Holland's Spider-Man,
right,
and very clearly edit all this empty space.
And then one guy, the lizard guy, get fucking hit with the face. It's like, oh, I wonder what happened. I think this is very planned. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I think they've showed some stuff, and I I feel like I could infer where some of the stories go in,
I honestly think the big reveal.
but it's going to be so many reveals in this thing.
I think the big reveal where they messed up, if they showed too much, was the last trailer where they showed us, or 2 trailers ago where they showed us Tyr's still around. I don't think we should have seen Tyr.
That's a good point. I think if we hadn't seen Tyr, that could have been a big.
I think that was the big thing, personally. And I think I said that at the time. I think we shouldn't have seen that, and we should have found him in the game.
I think the one thing they did in this trailer that maybe they shouldn't have done, Odin.
I feel
It's not confirmed it's Odin, but we think it's Odin.
I mean, he shows up. He's like got all these names, and one of those is the Wanderer.
Yeah.
So
We think it's a strong possibility. Strong. If they hadn't showed him, and that would have been one surprise that we only find out in the game. But the thing is, I think we're gonna get Faye. We haven't seen anything about Faye. I think we're gonna see lots more to do with Freya. All we've seen is her just swipe a short sword once. That's gonna be a huge plotline, I think. So there's a lot to this game. We haven't even seen more from Agraboda. We've just seen her one thing. She was like, and then walks off. All of these characters that we're gonna.
One thing I would love in Ragnarok, if we are going to do time travel, is that tree where she has Faye's golden handprint?
Yeah.
I want Kratos to come back to the time where she makes that handprint. So that tree, for us who've played both of the new gen games, you're like, that's not just a tree with a golden handprint. It means something.
Or like she needed him to make that together.
Exactly.
Woo, boy!
Where like he puts his hand on hers and they mark the tree. And
then that's what. Man,
just things like that.
Because the thing is that he wouldn't know in that time, but at the beginning where he goes up to it and he puts his hand up against it, it means so much more.
Exactly. That's exactly what I want to see.
Shit, I've got goosebumps.
That's exactly what I want to see. And that's one of the things I loved about Kenobi originally, those first 3 episodes, where Leia only knows him as Ben Kenobi, so that in A New Hope, when Luke says, "I'm here with Ben Kenobi," and she jumps up, Ben Kenobi, because that's the guy that saved her as a kid.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know Obi-Wan. They're different people to her, and then they messed it all up. But I love when things go in and they add in so that it works, so that it's continuous. So that's what I want to see a lot of from the game. Like little things like that, I don't really care about. I think little things like that get overlooked, and they mean so much more to people like you and me who are really in touch with the stuff. So that's what I want to see.
Diogo writes in, and he says, God of War trailer got me hyped again after so much time. Really leaning towards your time travel theory.
Why are you stuck in the loop?
I'm just going to take my W now. It's okay. I'll just take my W now. Don't worry
It's
about
going
it.
to be one fat L if you're wrong, though.
I'm piling onto it, so it's making it worse. Like, normally when people say, when people say, I told you so, I hate those people because what they usually do is they go, don't do that, man. It's going to be a thing. And if it doesn't happen, they stay quiet. Everyone stays quiet. They move on with life. That's cool. But if it does happen, then they have the, I told you so. Oh, fuck you.
My brother does this.
Oh,
every year, he'll be like, a few times in the year, he'll be like, we're coming up to a market crash. Or housing crash or something like that. And he's been wrong since like 2014. He's been wrong. And then this year, he's like, I told you, man. I called it. People need to listen to me, man.
W.
She's going to take my fat dub.
He's just walking around like this. Yo!
I called it. Also, it's like, okay, you called it, but you're stuck in the crash with everyone else.
Yeah.
You're not benefiting. You're just going to be like, I told you so. Okay, but...
It's like, I don't know, man. I feel like this could be the end of the world. I feel like the world's going to literally explode. Worlds explode. Told you.
Called it.
You happy about this?
Yeah. Also, you said it every single day for 40 years.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, going to be tough to decide between this or Sonic Frontiers, which I'm more hyped about at the moment. Diogo, I hate you with a great passion.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand how much I hate you. I really, really do.
Topic, he says. New Sonic Frontiers trailer is out. It looks sick. And once again, more hype for that than God of War.
So let me do it near the mic, sorry.
He fell asleep as a dad. He's just got... BS Bro 2, aka Alpha, says, time travel theory is dumb. Get fucked, Eddie.
How dare you? How dare you?
The man is a genius. Also, Alpha watched. No, it's Lex. Never mind. Get fricked, Alpha. Good comment, Lex. Tyr. T. It was Lex? T. Yeah, Tyr. I will mention him though. Alpha Aquila watched Galaxy Quest, like I mentioned to you, and he really enjoyed it. The one where it's like the TV shows like Star Trek, and then aliens come and they've built everything to the show.
Yeah.
They backward engineered it from the show and somehow made it all work.
That seems like an Alpha Aquile-ass show.
Oh, yeah.
That seems like perfect fit for him.
Yeah, and it's kind of a love letter to crappy old, to like the OG, like
Star Treks and stuff.
yeah,
like
yeah.
Cool.
Cryptic, hashtag get juice on Streamcast. What the frick?
We
Says
cancel Streamcast just so we don't get juice on it.
it's a true fact.
Yeah.
God of War trailer ruled. One of the only games I'm buying this holiday. Still pissed at 70 quid games, but I guess I'll have to cave this once and spend that extortionate amount of money for Peak Gaming.
See, this is the thing. I just don't get that because, like we said, with prices are going up of everything, like in
everything.
life. Let's forget about that part, for example.
Right.
But production quality in games is only going up. They're hiring much more talented voice actors, motion captures. Tons of people are working on these studios. They're getting better pay so they can live like a livable wage. So they can live happily better. Everything is getting bigger and better, and it's all being relayed over to you as well.
Yeah, that's
you're
the
getting
key.
you're getting the better product at the end, much better than it was in the past. And then when it comes to something absolutely fucking amazing, you're like begrudgingly giving over your money for something that's going to give you an amazing time. How does that compute with you?
I do understand the going from like say $40 a game-ish, 40 quid to 70. I get it. Like I understand that you look at it and go, I'm accustomed to this price level. But like if you consider those games, that's what The Last of Us 1 cost. Go and look at the last 2013 The Last of Us. And tell me that The Last of Us Part 1 remake, all that stuff, isn't worth the difference. Because I think it absolutely is worth the difference, just the quality, the fluidity, visuals, and the fact they kept the soul of it.
Yeah.
And that's a remake.
Yeah.
And I think it's worth it. So I'm with you, but like cinema prices, it's not cheaper now to go to cinema than it was, a while ago. It's more expensive. It used to be like I would take my chick to see, when we went to see Endgame, it was like £9 each, something like that. And we went to see Top Gun, and it was like close to 14 quid each. So it's almost doubled, nearly doubled, 50% more, right? In an industry that's got crushed and needs to do everything it can to get people in,
It's just this weird logic because like it's a question of value, not a question of what the price is.
Yes, it's value, not cost. Yeah.
So I don't understand how you can then go that $70 isn't good enough when it's arguably, we don't know yet, it's probably going to be one of the best games ever made.
What?
It's like going to if you was to bring it into like medicine, for example.
Yeah.
Say for medicine in the UK, you pay for a prescription now if you're like if you don't have any disabilities or whatever, something like that. It's like £9 or whatever. If you was to pay £9 for a prescription for like antibiotics, and then you was to go, but I've got cancer, and we've got this magic pill that's going to get rid of it for me. However, it doesn't fall under the £9. It's actually 3 times the price. Are you going to be like, no? The price is more, therefore it is not worth it, okay? It is not worth it for me to be cured from the worst disease ever, from the worst unimaginable thing ever. It's not worth it. I can't believe it.
That's a great analogy.
It's an
because
extreme.
Not playing God of War is the same
It's the
as
same.
having terminal cancer.
But what I'm trying to say is that, like, if I was to ask him, like, what is your value? What price do you think it should be?
Yeah.
It's likely going to be what the previous price was, $60. So $10 is the difference for the best thing ever you've ever seen. I'm too far.
It's
I'm
interesting.
Heated again.
It's interesting.
Cryptic, I'm not hating you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just we because of the position that we're in, we get in these discussions a lot more.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to see if his opinion changes. If after the game, he's like, "Yeah, I don't see why I'm paying so much extra for this game," which I don't think will be the case. Assuming you're playing on a PS5, because I could see you playing it on a PS4 and being like, "Yeah, I don't know why I'm paying more."
I think the PS4 price is lower though, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. It shouldn't be.
I think PlayStation have made the hard distinction where it's like PS5 games are $70, PS4 games are not. And that's the way they're going with it.
I mean, regardless, hopefully you're playing it on a PS5 because I want you to have the best console and the best experience of it. But I would be curious to find out if he said 70, so I assume you have a PS5.
Yeah.
I would like to know.
Of course it does.
Yeah, once you've played it, I'd like to know if your opinion of it. If you go, you know what? Yeah, the extra $10, like I can see where it went. I get it. the other side of that thing, it's like you said, cost versus price. And I think it's very easy to people look at it and go, well, the number's different. That means it's more. I'm having to pay more. And they never look at it like you're getting more, right? Like, Ferraris are more expensive than Corsas, you know? But they still have 4 wheels and an engine.
There's some places where this applies. For example, things going up in the UK, Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
From £79 to £95 a year. The service isn't changing.
Yeah.
You're not getting anything more.
Right.
It is still next day delivery. It's not that they're going, well, now we're offering way more products at before 12 o'clock.
No. The service is expanding in that they give you more non-next day delivery options. You can pay for Prime and get, like, comes in 3 days on your Prime.
So that is, then you're like, hold the phone.
Yeah.
But when it's like, we're going to give you something amazing for the $70.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Cutting edge tech, the best story, the best team making it, yeah.
Now, if somebody turns around and says, I'm going to give you the same game you got last year, like, I don't know, NBA 2K,
Right.
and then it's the same game again, then you get to raise your hand.
Whoa! That one guy that switched from Team A to Team B, he's now on Team B in the game.
Fair point. Sorry, my apologies. I retract everything I said.
Adding value.
That's the thing you're supposed to bring over, not the game that's brand new. Or when I say brand new, I mean it's a sequel, so it can't be brand new, obviously. But it's an entirely new story. One of the best stories ever. I can't understand the logic. I can't get behind it.
I really want to hear your opinion on the price after you finish the game.
And I promise you it'll be a safe place and I won't ridicule you. I'm sorry.
I don't promise that at all. I'm going to lay into you if you're wrong. If your opinion doesn't become correct by the end of it, I'm coming for you. BS Bro #1, number 1, says, I really hope I enjoy God of War when I get there. It's awesome to see how people have different favourite games, and it's the best part of all of this. What? And it's the best part of all of this.
Basically, because he's an Xbox fan, he's trying not to say anything nice specifically about one thing. He's trying to make it about everybody. But,
cool.
But it's being
Seeing
very general and it's not making sense.
Yeah. Since the last episode, I finished Immortality. I can read. I know words. I don't say this lightly. It's a must play. A game of the year contender that almost passed me by completely. If you like film and mystery, you'll love how Immortality has been crafted. It's one of those games that will stick with me. P.S. Still no Star Trek Resurgence release date announcement. God, to Alpha, I don't know how you tolerate this. Listen, I went out and harassed Ghost of Tsushima devs because they didn't put something in my game. They at least brought the game to me.
Didn't put something in the game that you wanted, was never promised, was never mentioned.
Never mentioned, and they harassed people for it. The fact that you're just quietly sitting here complaining about it is... You need to get your tinfoil hat on and go after these guys. Yeah. All bets are off now. I have no idea when we'll get an announcement. I just saw that I've won 2,750 achievements, which feels like a surprising amount. I don't always get all the achievements in the game. How many trophies does Eddie have? Because I feel like he's got to have so much from his plats. So how many do you have in total? Yeah, not just plats, because you've got like 30 plats or something.
I'll tell you right now.
But total trophies, what are we looking at?
I have 3,198 trophies.
Get fricked, Alpha, you suck.
Also, achievements are different because... Oh, no, wait. Oh, that's not gamer score. Okay, well, that's a decent amount of achievements right there. I was going to say, because gamer score is like the lowest amount you can get is 10.
Yeah.
So it's not like
that's
1.
Just putting the game in,
Already you're tenfold better than anyone else. And then when you get to like, what is it, 1,000 gamer score and whatnot.
Yeah. So achievements is functionally trophies, but they're like, it doesn't distinguish between... Yeah, it's not as cool. Because it's not a PlayStation.
Exactly.
Tailgate says, the God of War trailer was hype, and I'm looking forward to it. At least us PlayStation's fans will have big exclusives to play during the time Starfield would have released.
Shots fired.
Oh my God. He just... Like, we all know it, but you don't come out and say it, innit? Just a drive-by. Talking to drive-bys, get fricked, Adam. Just out of nowhere.
Just out of nowhere. We were just chilling. Didn't even mention your name. Out of nowhere, drive-by Sheps.
It's freaking cool.
Sheps was just eating a sandwich at a fucking deli.
Yeah. Jesus. He's got 2-pack, just like that. What do you guys think of the D23 gaming showcase? I watched streamer I follow react to the beginning of the event, and the first big thing they showed was a mobile game, so I just turned off.
It was awful.
I didn't clock it.
It was awful. I didn't even bring it up as any of the news. There was one thing that was maybe kind of noteworthy, was that Skydance was making the Amy Hennig Star Wars game. Not a Star Wars game, Marvel game.
Yeah, that's one.
And the characters, Captain America, I was like, oh, okay, Captain America.
Yeah.
Black Panther's grandfather.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it showed, it was one of the Wakandan princesses. It's not the warrioresses.
The
one like red.
Dormelage.
Yeah, the one Dormelage.
Dormelage.
A Dormelage.
Yeah.
Singular. And then
if she's on her own, does she get the afro?
no, they're bald.
Yeah, but I'm saying like.
Oh, if she's on her own, maybe
Yeah.
she can grow it out. No evidence.
Exactly.
The grandfather's still there, though. So that's
True.
and then one's random soldier, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? It could be great, but it was so little information, and everything else was just mobile games and fucking Fortnite skins and shit like that. I was just like, I'm out. I don't care. Why did you draw up all this excitement for nothing?
It's funny that. It's funny you say that.
Oh, there we go.
Those exact words. He said the event was really disappointing. The only worthwhile announcement was Amy Hennig's Marvel game, which is Captain America game set in World War II, which is Captain Me Up with T'Challa's grandfather, the Black Panther at the time.
There you go.
Or at least it's the Black Panther at the time.
Oh yeah, because I guess
So it's
his
not just
grandfather was there.
because the way you said it, because I didn't watch the event, was it's going to be Captain America, some old Wakandan dude.
Just a guy. I was like, oh,
Just a
I'm
guy.
the relative.
I used to be Black Panther, but there's this magic flower, and we made a cup of tea, and now T'Challa. Like, you really want T'Challa, but I can give you some words of wisdom.
I'm very experienced.
At the time, they're teaming up against the forces of Hydra.
Jesus Christ.
Called it! Called it! You're welcome!
Fuck my life.
I should be charging for this sort of genius. Sounds really interesting, but it will be similar to the Uncharted games. Here's a question that what video game lore would make you sound like a crazy person if you were to explain it to someone that doesn't play video games in general?
I think if you just explain Death Stranding to anyone,
That's a really good show. I was going to say,
that's the worst one.
mentioned it a few times, like me and Chris have spoken about it, Soul Reaver and Legacy of Kain and stuff, because there's lots of time paradoxy shit in that. However, doesn't come close to Death Stranding. Death Stranding is full
Stranding. And you're
crackhead.
trying to hold a candle to it, but it's
Yeah.
all the way over here.
Imagine like Death Stranding is like trying to explain what an acid trip's like while you're having an acid trip and eating mushrooms and doing crack.
And the person you're trying to explain it to is deaf, and you
Yeah.
have no means of communication,
language.
sign language. Like, I don't understand. It's just no way. Anything Hideo Kojima related, even
True.
MGS would be hard to explain to someone. It's like, so you're like a stealth spy, right? But
Yeah, you're like a mecha samurai almost, except
Yeah,
you
hold on
don't
a
start that way. In fact, you're young when you start out.
Hideo Kojima posted his first episode of his podcast.
Yeah.
And do you know how he came up with Solid Snake?
Go on.
He literally was like, I wanted to think of something like cool and like powerful and whatnot, and a lot of the themes already been explored, like Fox and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It was like,
yeah.
and then I
The
thought
power
like
of a fox. Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I thought like snake, but snakes are like kind of wiggly and like soft. So I thought call him Solid Snake, and I was like, that's such a fucking Hideo Kojima thing to do right there.
The thing is,
I don't want you to think he's soft. I don't want you to think he's wiggly. He's solid, okay?
if you hadn't started that bit with Hideo Kojima on his podcast, I'd have been like, get this crackhead away from me. I don't want to I don't want to hear anything about this guy, but because it's Hideo, it's like, oh yeah, cool. Well, that makes sense. That's a very Hideo thing to do. Like, if you're going to announce your director's cut, what do? You have freaking, what's his name, get in a giant cardboard box. Of course you do. Anyway.
Oranges everywhere, even though oranges mean nothing.
Tailgate says, for me, it's Fortnite lore. The game has lore. It's a bunch of multiverse stuff with plenty of weird rabbit holes to go down. Trying to explain Fortnite lore to anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, try and explain it to me. I wouldn't get it. Shall I read this one?
Yeah, go for it. You did Mike T.
Mikey T92 writes in, he says, the state of play was enjoyable. Didn't drag on for too long. Some cool looking games, Pacific Drive being a standout for me, and it ended on an absolute banger. The Nintendo Direct ended with a banger, but really dragged its ass up to that point. That is unfortunate, isn't it? A few highlights: GoldenEye coming back, and then Tears of Kingdom. Oh, I can't believe you just wrote that.
Right.
Have some respect for our mourning period.
Right.
She hasn't even been put in the ground yet. You know how people go in to see her body? And
Yeah.
there's like a queue for like
Some people have been there.
20 hours.
It's 3 miles long.
fuck off.
I was on the radio on the way over here.
And the thing is, her body's in a box. You don't get to see anything.
Yeah, this isn't like Stalin. If you don't know, Stalin's like a glass case. Like, you don't get to see the Queen. You get to see a box.
It's a small coffin because she's a small lady,
Yes.
and then just an England flag over it,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Which, by the way,
You
if
don't
I
get to
was
stop or take pictures. You just walk around and then go out.
if I was the head of state, I'd be like, "Yo, just put a box with a flag there. Let me keep my mum and put her in like a grave."
Like, we'll do the burial over here and just put a fucking box there.
Right.
Anyway,
Like with Superman, they're basically the same person anyway. Can't wait for Queen Elizabeth II Part 2.
when we put her in the ground eventually, there'll be a nice steady shot. There'll be some put like soil on her, and then the soil will rise and be like, "Oh my god, he's come back!"
I'm just worried if she died shouting and there were like sound waves
Oh, I see.
that let some sort of enemy know that Liz has gone.
Ah.
Don't. Look, do you know what? Wiz action I just shills, but I can't stand by that. That's just the dumbest thing ever.
The bell has been rung. It can't be unrung.
I hate him so much. What
Tears
were
of
we
the
talking
Kingdom
about?
teaser. But out of the two, PlayStation had the better show film. God of War Ragnarok. That's how you do a trailer. Looked fantastic. Hopefully it delivers and we get bigger and better game than 2018. I have a strong feeling it will be, and I honestly thought it was impossible until I saw that trailer. I thought there's no way it can be better. That's a mountain that I don't want to climb.
Yeah.
But it seems like it is going to be done. 2 questions for you guys. Did the God of War Ragnarok trailer show too much?
We
Common
already-
theme
yeah.
coming in right there. I'm thinking no. Just about enough. Do you think we'll get a PlayStation showcase similar to the one that we got last September? If so, when? I feel like it would have been out already.
Yeah, me too.
However, we're getting these rumors that apparently Spider-Man 2 is going to get shown off.
Yeah, but will it?
God
But
knows,
will
mate.
it?
God knows. I've lost hope. Now that they've shown God of War, I feel like why wouldn't they have shown that at the showcase?
Yeah.
Or maybe they wanted to take that away from the other games so it didn't get overshadowed. They don't want to overshadow their own games, but they'll overshadow anyone else.
Right.
Everyone else, fuck them. But we don't want to overshadow everyone. Anyway, that's your question answer right there.
Let's have a look. So, Camille Vesquez, my She-Hulk. Jack says, Sonic Frontiers with, is that a hedgehog emoji? It is.
It is.
Or God of War Ragnarok with an Eddie emoji, and God of War Ragnarok is winning. And then Isak the Ballsack says, can't wait for the Kratos X tier interactive sex scene. Ainsley?
Have you seen that emote, by the way?
No.
So I did a charade stream,
Yeah.
and someone was like, act out a salt shaker on your tongue.
You didn't fall for that.
I did it. I had to do it. I was legally obliged to.
God damn it, that is how that works as well.
Yeah.
Sean says, mid-podcast, to be honest.
That's a fact.
Well, it is a fact, and I mean, the guy's doing his bit trying to get our Twitch taken down because some idiot would just click any link someone sends him on stream. Are you fencing?
Bit of a-
Beersbro 2 says, that trailer was hype. We still get chills from Odin's voice lines that deliver this perfectly. Can't freaking wait. In fairness, we don't know that it's Odin. It's obviously Odin, isn't it? It's obviously.
All right.
We've been going for a while. I just want to say, get fricked, Runic Firebird. Remembered and ignored.
Oh, God. Should we do it?
Now we're coming close to the limit.
Yeah, I think the 3-hour limit is coming
Yeah.
up here. Sorry, guys. Runic Firebird, next time we'll do it for you.
Yeah.
Promises.
Totes.
We love you.
We do love you.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in for another episode. I'll catch you guys all in the next one, and see you later, boy.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next one. What was that?
I don't know.
Why
just did some random
I thought you were a
dance.
comedic genius. We even patted you on. You spent all podcast sucking your own dick about how you're a comedic genius. You said we, us comedic geniuses constantly unalive ourselves because we're so funny. As if that's how it works.
And then I went and did that.
And then you did whatever that was.
Sorry. Do you know what it is
You
actually?
should be
It's,
sorry.
it's Amy Santiago's winning dance.
Yeah, but Amy Santiago is so much funnier than you.
Do you know what's funny? I call my girlfriend Amy Santiago because she does similar stuff like that. Like, you know,
Right.
the loser stuff. where
Yes,
it's like,
yeah.
It's like, oh, Ames. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whenever she does Amy does something, I just turn around, look at my girl, I'm like...
That is something you would do in it. Yeah.
And she's like, why are you looking at me? Her accent comes out when she does that. Why are you looking at me?
I do. I've noticed that.
When
That
she
her
gets
Polish
angry.
accent comes out. Yeah.
All right. Catch you later,
Later,
boys.
boys.